All right. I will be back in a little bit. Stay tuned.
Turbo pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, Atlantic.
Water towers, fly! Yes!
Echo down to nominal.
Fighting outside FD off. Bring in FD off. Off. It's orange! 145!
Oh my god!
Decollage.
Leaving!
Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
The methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? Sure. We don't need any more of these.
All right. Well, I hope you can hear me. I see 5x5s in chat. The cold open was more news about Moonlander Odysseus. New Glenn begins proof testing, and Starship creeps closer to Flight 3. That was the cold open, but it was colder than anticipated. Welcome to NSF Live. We're doing our new time slot, our new format. Still, we hope you like it. I'm Jack Beyer for NSF, and EJ is at Starbase apparently. EJ, hi. Oh, shh.
I'm good. I'm just watching stuff. It's
yeah,
important.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare away the starships.
Oh, dude, there's a piping plover over there. Yo.
And also on today's stream is Adrian filling in for Sawyer, who will be back next week. Adrian, how you doing?
Doing great. We found like the second person that can do puns at NSF, so I'm filling in for Sawyer here to provide some puns this week, but he will be back. Don't worry about it. I'm just filling in on the pun side here.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we'll keep that in mind as you execute some predictable groaners here in Sawyer's stead. But yeah, I mean, just how was your week? EJ, how was your week?
Week was great, dude. There's a lot of space news to talk about. There's a lot of stuff that happened again. I mean, I'm pretty hyped up over that IM-1 mission. But how about you? How was your week? Everything good?
No complaints. Also hyped up about IM-1. We're gonna start talking about that here in a second. But yeah, I don't know. We're just hanging out. Adrian, you have a good week?
Absolutely. I mean, it feels like space fan heaven right now. Everything's happening. Like Starbase stuff is happening. We have a new Glenn that is being tested. IM-1, of course. Like, there's so many things. It's actually sometimes hard to keep track because everything is happening at once.
It's true. It's a good time to be a space nerd. Speaking of space nerds, all you space nerds in chat over here, make sure if you have any questions at NASA Spaceflight with your questions in chat. It'll pop up in some software we have running in the background. I already see a couple. And pro tip, if you're asking a question about what we're talking about at that given moment, it's probably a better bet that your question's going to get answered. But yeah, let's just jump right into the IM-1 news that we got a couple days ago. Odysseus down on the moon, not completely horizontal as initially thought. Now it's kind of like a 30-degree angle. I thought that was pretty interesting. But before we get into like the nuts and bolts and the nitty-gritty stuff, Adrian, you had previously said quite emphatically, and if I'm mischaracterizing your statements, feel free to stop me. You had previously said quite emphatically that this was not a successful. What did you say? Say it in your own words. And do you still think that?
So I think I said previously that I would not call this a complete successful mission, or like give it like the green tag, kind of like on if you have the space Wikipedia page, it wouldn't show up as green for me. Like it would show us as like partial successful for me on the Wikipedia of like maybe like a yellowish green color to give it like my take here. And listen to me here. I think it's an impressive mission. I think it's amazing. I'm excited about it. I love the updates. However, it didn't land the way it intended to land. And to my knowledge, also some of the payload, like I think NASA updated that 5 of the 6 payloads were communicating. So it's like there's some margin of where you can say it could have been better, and maybe that's my German that's coming through here. I would say partially successful. So I'm leaving with this spice here. Like, let's go.
I think I just watched the presser from 2 days ago, and I think they said all 6 payloads had collected and transmitted data. I could be misremembering that. EJ, corroborate, confirm, deny.
What did you say? All the data?
All 6 payloads had collected and transmitted data back. I think that
they had. A lot of them did transmit data, and a lot of it was useful. But there were missions that just because they transmitted data doesn't necessarily mean that
it's
the
useful.
experiments on board were successful. Yeah, I mean, there was a NASA experiment that had downward-facing cameras that were supposed to use photogrammetry to get the landing, to take pictures of the landing ejecta and make a photogrammetric image of it to see how the regolith gets ejected during a landing. That didn't happen. Well, because the hacked guidance system, but there was some data from it, so it wasn't a complete loss. I mean, I would agree with Adrian on this. I would say partially successful here, but honestly, Jack, during that press conference with Tim Crane, basically the head nerd over there. Not that Steve Altemus isn't also a huge nerd, and I mean that in an endearing way. That it was awesome listening to them. He was talking about how there was so many unknowns going into this mission, and I think that's a really important thing to touch on. Yeah, I'd still call it partially successful, right? Dang, that's a lot of memberships. Thank you very much, Jerwa.
Holy cow!
Sweet. That's dude.
Wow.
It's going off in the chat. It's going off, my guy.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. I want you to finish your thought, but yeah, Jerwa is a legend as usual.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So anyway, Tim Crane was saying that there was an insane amount of unknowns going into this mission. So what is an unknown? So they're obviously known unknowns, meaning you can kind of figure out what it's going to do, when it's launching, even though there was an unknown there, but that's another story. Basically, there was a lot of firsts on this mission. There was a lot of first time a cryogenic stage had been launched inside of Falcon's fairing.
Right. First time a Methalox engine had been fired in deep space.
Exactly. First time. There was a lot of different first times here. You're going into a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of unknown territory. There's no way to test that. There's no way to do vibration testing on a fully fueled Methalox lander. No, there's no facilities for that. He talked about that. It's actually awesome. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but I mean, if you should guys go watch that after this. It's fantastic. The nerd chills were coming left and right. So I'd say, given the amount of unknowns, this was a really, I'd say I'd err more on the side of success than I would on failure. Considering the laser range finders, them having to hack the guidance system, adjusting the star tracker before that. Like, I'd say this shows pretty good tenacity and pretty good grit over at Intuitive Machines there. They're like, no, we're not failing here. We're not crashing into the moon. We're not missing the moon. We're going to get it there. And they did. So I'd say more successful than failure, but still partial. Because, I mean, honestly, you wanted to land it, but there was a lot of risk with this mission. Jeez. Gunfox again with the membership left and right. Thank you very much. Very, very much appreciated.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so I would call it a success. I just wanted to needle Adrian a little bit there. After listening to that presser, I definitely think they're getting data. Even the camera that didn't fire that you were talking about for the regolith plume impingement study, even though that camera didn't fire, they mentioned that they were able to get some data from the images that were produced by other instruments. Yep. So it's remarkable that they had like they said, 11 different crises moments that they had to work through, that each one of those could have been mission ending. And the fact that they were able to get on the moon, touch down softly, even if it tipped over a little bit, who cares? I think it's a wild success. That's my opinion. You can disagree. And I know people out there are going to be like, oh, we landed on the moon 50 years ago. This is a waste of money. Why did we call this a success? It crashed, blah, blah, blah. It landed, it transmitted data back. The quality of that data remains to be seen, but they said something like 300 something megabytes of data back from the moon. So to me, that's a wild success. Yes, I wish it would have landed a little bit better, but given all of the hurdles that they had to jump over, I think it's incredibly impressive. Like this, it's almost like an Apollo 13 level endeavor, 11 times over throughout the course of the mission in order to get this thing down softly. So Adrian, go ahead.
I don't disagree with you. Like, I think in an overall sense, calling it partially successful doesn't make it any less impressive. Like, we are not. I think we are just arguing on a pure like technical nitty gritty like level where we like, is this like, can we classify it like that? But I think we all three agree it's an extremely impressive mission. It's an astonishing achievement by IM. It's like I think that there's no argument here from me. Like, I'm impressed by them. I'm impressed by how they handled all of these like failure modes, like everything that went against their will here. And even if nothing goes against you during a moon landing, we are still talking about landing on the moon, which has been proven, especially in the last few years, to be extremely difficult. And like, even if you don't have all of these like things that happen on the way, it's still even then it would be a marvelous achievement, and handling all of these crises on the way makes it like even more crazy.
Yeah, it's important to note that this is a private company landing on the moon for the first time. This is something that's formerly the realm of nation states and, multi-country collaborations. It's so for a small scrappy private company to be able to pull it off. That's why it's like, oh, we did this 50 years ago. Why is it so hard? Because this is not, we're not doing the same things over and over again. We're trying to innovate and do things cheaper and do things, outside of the scope of the traditional space bureaucracy. Okay, so that all of this brings me to my second question. This is just Jack Asks People question time. So, given what we know now about the 11 crises and about the troubleshooting that took place and enabled this mission to be whatever levels of success that you want to qualify it as. Given all of that, does that make you more confident in IM2, which is going to be launching a Nova C class lander again later this year, I believe? Does that make you more confident in the next mission because they were able to work out all these kinks? Or does it make you less confident in IM2 because they had so many kinks, like the pin not being pulled from the navigation system on the ground? Or is it neutral? Does it not affect how you think the next mission is going to go either way? EJ, I'll let you go first, because I think it's on the one hand, my brain personally is like, oh wow, we were able to work through all these issues, so I'm even more confident in Flight 2. On the second hand, some of those issues were like, oh man, come on. So I think on the whole, I am personally more confident in the second landing, or second mission. But I don't know. I wanted to get your take, EJ. Go ahead.
They'll stick the next landing. I'm pretty sure they'll stick the next landing. Here's the thing. I'll put my word down on this. Remember this, chat. Both chats, Twitch and YouTube. Remember this. When we do a NASA Spaceflight Live after IM2, you can stick it to Mr. Streamer Man and say, no, you were wrong. Or I could be like, yeah, I think so. I think I was right. I think they'll stick the next one. There was a lot of, like I was saying before, there was a lot of firsts on this mission. But the best way to get data and the best way to learn is to fly. But the problem is that that's not always the cheapest solution there. But this validated for everything that went wrong here. It validated a lot of systems that went right on this vehicle. And I think that, are they going to get curveballs on the IM2 mission? Sure. That happens. That's space flight. That's the one thing you can be absolutely sure of. Something won't go exactly how you planned it. That is the only, absolute. Nothing's guaranteed in this industry. Nothing. You can forget to plug a wire in. It's always something small, right? Nothing's guaranteed, but, given what I've seen from the culture that they have over there at Intuitive Machines of being able to solve these problems and jump through the hoops that you need to, and even get a partial success out of this mission is pretty dang impressive. I'm pretty sure whatever curveballs they will have on the IM2 mission, they'll be able to solve. Sure.
Nice. Good answer. Solid answer. Adrian, what do you think?
I'm kind of in the same boat here. Will there be another challenge coming? Like, will there be something that comes up on the second flight that they didn't experience on the first flight? Yes, probably. There's a high chance it will. Will they still have to change their plan, modify something? Will something come up? Yes. But what they demonstrated on this flight is an extreme flexibility. They were able to solve problems on the fly. And I think that's one of the probably most critical and I'm saying this as a person probably not qualified to judge anybody's work that tries to land on the moon. But like, I think one of the biggest skills you have to demonstrate in these kinds of environment is being flexible, adapting fast, like changing your plan based on new problems that come up. And that's the one skill that IM has demonstrated kind of like no other here in this one mission. So even if something comes up during flight 2, and even if something doesn't go as planned at that, I'm confident. I'm joining EJ's like proclamation of success here. I think they will have a good touchdown on the moon on flight 2.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. We do have a poll in chat if you want to weigh in. Your IM2 confidence, higher, lower, or no change? And right now, higher is at 84%. So I think most people feel like there's a higher chance. And I would agree. I just sort of, that thought crossed my mind this morning while listening to the presser. I was like, they had a lot of issues, but their troubleshooting is clearly top notch. But at the same time, they did have a lot of issues. So I figured I would pose that question. But yeah, let's keep talking about IM1. But first, I want to hit some support from people coming in. Coco Cats gifting a membership. RC Horseman gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Thank you, RC Horseman. There's so many of these names that are regulars, which I always love. D Mars gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Blake Alexander, another regular, gifting 10 Red Team memberships. It's a gifting train. There's Jerwa with 20, like we were talking about a few moments ago. Thank you, Jerwa. Been around since the beginning. Ninja Decimator with a 5 Red Team membership. Thank you, Ninja.
It's a great name.
Right? It's just any name I can say in a silly voice, I'm 100% here for.
Oh, boy.
Gunfox 20. Gunfox 61 gifting 20 Red Team memberships. Thank you so much, Gunfox. That's insane. That's a huge amount of support that we appreciate so much, because the membership program is the bedrock of everything that we do here at NSF. And, as we gear up for Flight 2, all of that support, Flight 3, oh, my brain. All of that support makes all the difference. And you get all kinds of cool perks. So if you just got gifted a membership, make sure you check out the members-only photos and all of that cool content. And, some more stuff in the works as well. But, Adrian,
I would call it the good rock instead of the bad rock, because it's so important. Because good, bad.
So you thought of that as I was doing the member support, and you thought to yourself like, oh, I have a pun. I can fill in for Sawyer here with a pun. And I just looked over and I saw the smile on your face. I should have known what was coming before. I shouldn't have even asked you. I regret.
No, yeah, shouldn't.
I have regrets. But seriously, thank you, everybody, for coming out and gifting the memberships and doing the support. If you are like, why don't I get a membership? It's something you have to actually enable on YouTube. You have to go into your settings and select accept gifts. So it's just a nice thing. People support us and they help.
Oh, there we go. There it goes again.
Someone else. Oh, whoa.
There it goes. Ball.
Bullet hole shooter. I'm going to be real careful saying this person's name from now to the rest of eternity. Bullet hole shooter gifting 20 Red Team memberships. Thank you, Bullet hole shooter.
That's not what that says.
Thank you, Bullet hole shooter. And also thank you for my most infamous moment on stream ever. And I once gave a shout out to a guy's parents who I thought were passed, and they were not passed live on air. So this is worse. Thank you, Bullet hole shooter.
Dude. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Shout out to Ray Wasaki. Ray, if you're watching, I don't know why we're friends. You should not be my friend. I'm terrible at this. Anyways, Ali DeMercy coming in as a flight engineer. Ooh. That's insane. Thank you so much. As flight engineer, you get all of the perks. You get Discord access. EJ, it looks like you just sucked on a lemon. Are you okay?
No, I'm sorry. It's just the cringe. Sorry. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, how do you think I feel? It's not even, you don't even have to live with it. It's part of your life for the rest of however long you live.
See,
Uh,
Jack, I've been doing this a long time. It's just the key is to just embrace the cringe.
Oh
That's
God.
the key. That's the key.
The thing is we're both friends with Sean, you know, of NSF. Sean showed me Grizzly Man at one point when we were in Boca together. And I don't know, have you seen Grizzly Man? It's the documentary by Werner Herzog where the guy tries to live with bears and like films himself.
Yeah, Sean would show you that.
Yeah, it's a Sean thing, but it was really good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
Werner Herzog, can't go wrong. I bring that up because there was so much cringe in that guy filming himself with bears. I can no longer, like, every time I'm filming something or doing something on camera, I'm like, oh God, am I going full Grizzly Man right now? Like, what's happening? Anyways, way off the rails.
We are off.
Ralph Chilton, thank you for the support. $10 tip to tips.nasaspaceflight.com. They say, happy Friday, cheers, all beers emoji if they don't come through. They did come through. Thank you. Will Piers, becoming a Padrat member. RC Horseman, thank you so much. Holy, what?
What was that? What?
$500 tip. $500 tip
Let's
from RC
go.
Horseman.
Let's freaking go.
Not only did RC Horseman come out in force, as they always do, but they did it to tips.nasaspaceflight.com. So every single cent of that goes straight to NSF, and we appreciate it. So that's like, what? EJ, you've been doing this for a long time. How do you express thanks for that insane amount of support? That is so much money to me. I can't even.
Well, I still don't accept tips gracefully, but remember what I was saying a second ago about embracing the cringe. Oh, look at this. That's a lot of money. Thank you very much, good sir. Look at me, future EJ homeowner. Yes.
Nice.
That's how you do it. See,
It's a
that's
really-
what I mean about embracing cringe. Yeah.
It's a really quality Zoidberg.
Thank you very much. Bring me a sandwich from the dumpster.
All right. Anyways, RC Horseman.
What?
No. I was gonna go further down the rabbit hole. Like, can we get a whoop 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 whoop, like the whoop whoop whoop?
No, they're judging me, dude. I can feel the judgment through the chat. Guess what? I reject it right back at you. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Quality.
Boom.
Quality. This is what you get. This is what you get, RC Horseman. Thank you so much. But for real, as we gear up for Flight 3, once again, to restate that, every little bit helps, just so we can make sure that we go into the next flight of Starship firing on all cylinders. That's insane. That's an insane amount of support.
Zoidberg is out of Futurama, right?
Say what?
Yep. Yeah.
That's a future. I never watched it.
What?
Okay, wait, no. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf here. Instead of being mad at Adrian for not having seen something, I am going to be excited. To Adrian, Futurama is great. It's a sci-fi, so you might actually like it. There's a whole bunch of different like lore and things that I'm sure you could get into as a Lord of the Rings fan and all of that, and a Stargate fan and D&D, all of that. You would love Futurama, so I highly suggest you watch it. Is this okay? Is this new leaf okay, or would you prefer me to be like, what? You haven't seen it? Oh
No,
never.
I like the new Jack. I really embrace this new positivity that comes up every time I mention that I have not watched anything. So it's a new page for us.
Yeah, I'm trying here. Got to change things up. I can't always just be old and curmudgeonly. Sometimes I have to be excited to share the things I like. How about that? That's nicer, right?
Yes. We talk about space, right?
Oh yeah. So
hey, Futurama's in space.
Futurama
True.
is in space. That is true. Well, it takes place on Earth, but most episodes. Anyways, I Am One. What else do we want to hit when it comes to I Am One? EJ, did you have anything that particularly jumped out at you during the presser, or something that you wanted to discuss?
It was mostly about the unknown unknowns. That's just unbelievable. The amount of curveballs that you get. But, I could just sit here and say that 1,000 times and it's it'd still be pertinent. But I'll be honest, we're getting into a new realm here. This is one of the early Artemis missions. And there's no doubt that when we're all old and they make documentaries about the Artemis program in the future, this mission will be a point of mention. Absolutely. And I think it sheds light on a lot of things here. Like, look, we've gone to the moon. We went to the moon 52 years ago, but we went to the moon with completely different architecture here. Like, the Artemis program bears no resemblance to the Apollo program in any way, shape, or form. And well, B, I already said it, but it was 52 years ago. Allow myself to introduce myself. This is the type of risk that we're going to deal with from here on out. NASA has tons of experience nowadays with going to low Earth orbit, even with SpaceX as their ride going to low Earth orbit. They have plenty of experience there. So those missions, seem more or less routine at this point. And that's a great thing. I'm perfectly happy with that. But, we're pushing the envelope here again. The ability to be able to problem solve like what intuitive machines did is what we need to do if we want to get somebody back to the moon. Missions need to be like this. We're raising the stakes. Got to be careful, but you also need to be ready for any problems that are going to happen. That's just space flight from here on out. I once again applaud intuitive machines. They kick butt. It was amazing. That's what you got to do. These missions are going to be like this. You have to be resilient. You have to have grit, because stuff will go wrong, and not like anything particularly like bad. Like I wouldn't want anybody getting hurt, right? But you're going to get curveballs like this. Like the antenna might be pointed in the wrong direction. Okay, how do you solve that problem? Use an antenna down in Australia, right? It's pointed towards that one, and that's exactly what intuitive machines did. The lander tipped over, went on its side, and their high gain antenna wasn't pointed in the right direction. To keep the vehicle simple, they had one high gain antenna and it was fixed. So they had to use their short band antennas. And the only way they could get, it being on the south pole of the moon at 80 degrees south, right? The only way you could get a good shot at those antennas was from Australia, from the dishes in Australia, because everywhere else on the Earth, you can't get a signal that way. That's why they only got 350 megs of information over 6 days, because they're using the low antennas to communicate. Which, once again, that's the resiliency that you need. This is what you've got to do. Problem solve. You got to fix this stuff on the fly. Obviously you want to have the best, offense when you go into it. You want to improve your odds. Chance favors the prepared, but also you're going to get curveballs. And once again, this is what we need to be doing if we're going to really go back to the moon and we're really going to land people. And I understand that NASA and intuitive machines are two different entities. I get it, right? But that's the mentality that you need to have. I don't know, guys. Watching that press conference felt like we were watching something from the Apollo program. It was exciting. The information that was conveyed was really, really cool to hear about this scrappy little dude, this lander that has all these curveballs thrown at it during a mission, and it's still sitting on the moon, and it was still transmitting power. I think they put it into standby mode as of today, which is March 1st. But even then, just by random chance, the top deck solar panel on Odysseus is pointed in the direction of lunar sunrise when the sun comes up on the moon in what is it, a couple of weeks, right? So right. That thing might even be able to generate further science after this.
They are going to try and contact it again. They don't know if the batteries will survive the lunar night, but they did say specifically in that presser that the solar panels are going to do fine during lunar night. So when the sun illuminates them, they will activate and generate power. It's just a matter of, is there anywhere for that power to go battery-wise? And there's a couple other components that were not rated to survive lunar night, but you never know. Hopefully, when they get some sun again, they can dial in and start talking to Odie again. And just to underscore what you're saying, the challenge of communicating with this thing, the dish in Australia specifically that they used was the Parks. I think it's called the Parks antenna. It's 64 meters.
It's a gigantic.
64 meters. That's 192 feet of dish, and it's incredibly sensitive and can listen in. And the other thing they said during the presser was the antenna they're using. The antenna they're using is the size of a water bottle.
Yep.
I don't get the dish reference. Explain the reference.
that was from the press conference. Tim Crane, he's like that antenna down in Australia. There was a movie made about the dish. It's called The Dish. It was awesome.
The hand gesture.
Dude, he did that. It was freaking sweet.
Nice.
If you manage that a thing about you is just the name and the word, like the preface the, you're like that. I mean,
yeah. I wish Chris Farley was still alive because he could do a whole like El Nino kind of thing. Where it's like the dish. Anyways,
Spanish for El Dish.
Yeah, El Dish. Thank you. But yeah, they said the
man.
antenna that Odie is using to communicate with Earth is the size of about a water bottle, and it's facing the moon.
Yep.
It's not even facing Earth. So to glean 300 whatever megabytes off of that super suboptimal situation is quite remarkable. So hopefully they get some power. Hopefully the batteries lived enough that they can talk to the lander again, and we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks. Adrian, did you have a favorite part of the presser or anything that really stuck out at you?
I want to do the dish.
Yes.
So
Awesome.
I have two things I want to say. First off, I want to officially say I love CLPS. Like, I love the commercial Lula payload services. It's like we always talk about Artemis. We always talk about, hey, we will go back to the moon. We see SLS, we see the Starship. But seeing these like smaller parts of all of this going back to the moon efforts, like Perigene and all now IM-1, seeing these in a short succession, and like we could have said a lot about the cool things we said about what we also said. We could have also said that about Peregrine, because that was also a really, really, really interesting and cool mission.
Great
so to get like 2 of these missions in a matter of a month, thanks to this program, and that's just the start. That was just 2 missions of CLPS, and we get so many more. I'm looking forward to Griffin. I'm looking forward to IM-2, like to see the learnings over time. And I'm just excited that like we get all of these moon missions. It's something different than just another Leo. Like I'm just like going to the moon always feels different. And the second thing, I love the like antenna tracking from some like when amateur when like some people do that with the dish at the moon, and we're like, oh, we can see the signal. Like I love these kind of stuff. Like when everybody comes together and like tries to like see what they can find out, like this investigative almost approach to this. That's so fun.
It's human ingenuity at its absolute best.
It's cool, man. People are on board. It's very clear. I mean, Adrian, it's a great point. It's very clear that these companies they're jonesing, and they're jonesing to do this stuff. They really like. I mean, Astrobotic, Intuitive Machines, they're ready to go. Like, let's leverage that. Let's go. Send it, dude.
Okay, so I guess we'll wrap that up with my favorite part of the presser. They said one of the lessons learned was more cameras. That's my favorite thing that we heard during the entire presser, is that IM-2 will have more cameras. They specifically called that out and said, we heard you loud and clear. There is a need for more and better cameras on IM-2, and so they're working on that. So hooray! They want to fly another Eagle Cam. Hopefully it works this time. And yeah, I think any moon mission needs to dedicate a non-trivial amount of mass to cool camera stuff, just because, like, how else are you going to get people excited about humans returning to the moon? You got to show it to them.
Yeah, dude, now that they have a baseline for how, Nova C landers work with that Methalox engine, you got a good baseline for performance there. They'll definitely, I'll bet you they'll send more. There'll be more payloads on IM-2. They got a baseline. They know what works. They know what doesn't. You can extrapolate C3 from there and characteristic energy, and you can adjust your payload volume as such. And clearly they're ready to do that, because they're like, yeah, we'll put more cameras on it. Yeah, we're doing that.
Heck yeah.
And I think IM2
ahead.
is like the whole thing about like ice drilling, right? Like if I
Yeah.
recall correctly,
Yep.
IM2 will do the whole we drill into the moon, gather some probes of ice, and analyze that. Like, how cool is that?
Super cool.
I am ready. I'm ready. And that's later this year, hopefully. That's nuts to me. Like, all right, let's go. Let's go again, man. Let's do it.
Yeah,
great.
I'm so used to the. I mean, let's be honest, depressingly long timelines for so many things in spaceflight, and the fact that they're going to launch again at some point this year, later this year, is what they said. Even if it's early next year, I don't care. That's a cadence that I am 100% here for.
Yep.
Speaking of things I'm 100% here for, Bullet Hole Shooter, thank you so much for the $200 tip. They say another 200 to match the 500 from RC Horseman with my last 300. Thank you so
That
much.
freaking guy, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Bullet Hole Shooter. I'm going to be extremely careful
Why?
every time. I don't want to mess up and say something preposterous.
I will send you a clip after this, EJ.
Wait,
Oh,
do
I
you
know.
not know? No, he knows.
Oh,
he has
you
to.
know.
I know.
He has
I'm
to
saying
know.
say his name.
That's why every time I say it very carefully, EJ's face lights up like a Christmas tree, getting 240 volts.
He's coming in here, say my name.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Thank you, Bullet Hole Shooter. I like it. Gives me it sends a shiver down my spine every time I do it. And Crafty Geek also coming in with a $100 tip. It's insane. Y'all are insane. Thank you so much. This is incredibly generous of you. And you better believe we're gonna take this and plow it right back into the fields and grow some more coverage cameras. Yeah.
I do not think cameras grow. Actually, but I'm not sure. I'm not an expert.
You're not a
You're
camera
photographer.
Camera, like, I think they're growing cameras right now in Boca. They're actually like on the ground, like they're like have the water can and like make sure they water the new cameras.
Yeah, that's why Das and Andrew are there right now. They're growing a fresh batch of cameras for Flight 3. But Crafty Geek says, fingers crossed, IM2 makes it to the 2024 launch schedule. Thanks for all the great coverage. Hyped for IFT3. Thank you, Crafty Geek. We definitely we're also excited for Flight 3. Got some cool stuff in the works. Das and Andrew are in Boca right now. That's all I'm going to say.
They're cooking.
They are cooking, and also watering camera plants or something. Jim Cavett gifting a Red Team membership. Thank you, Jim. Chris W. gifting 1. Astro Joe gifting 1. Anonymous gifting 5. Steve Hansen gifting 1. Mr. Rich Texas gifting 5. Jim Gold becoming a Red Team member. Rankley with a $5 super chat says, what does the $5 Zoidberg sound like? Or Bender?
Oh, I can't sound like John DiMaggio, man.
You kind of already do.
But I can tell you to bring me a sandwich from the dumpster.
Can you
Leave
do
the maggots on it.
Can you do Wash Bucket
No,
or Scruffy?
I'm Scruffy.
Yeah, I was like, you could definitely do a Scruffy.
Scruffy gonna die the way he lived.
Adrian has just no idea what's going on.
Nope.
He's very confused.
Absolutely clueless.
Well, you see, Adrian, Scruffy's gonna die the way he lived. Jim Cavett gifting 1 Red Team membership. JC Davis with a $2 super chat. Okay, this had to come up. They're asking, Jack can say Odie, but not Hoppy. Can you see on my face how much I like this question? It's a fair question, though. You know why? You know why I say Odie? Because Intuitive Machines says Odie. So I say Odie. You know what SpaceX called Starhopper? Starhopper. Case closed. But really the answer is I'm an old curmudgeon, and I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like, and I don't like Hoppy.
What's the name? Wait. Okay, all right, Jack. All right. What's the name of the tallest building in Chicago?
It was the Sears Tower. I have no idea what it is now. Willis Tower?
No. It's the Sears Tower. They can call it whatever they want. It's the Sears Tower. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes the name just sticks, and Hoppy sticks.
For you, sure. I'm glad you have a thing that you like. I don't.
I love to see. How hard Jack tries to not be argumentative.
I'm
Really?
I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm being nice. Everything's great. Everything's happy.
It's great.
He's gonna blow a gasket. Just
Wait. So do you call it Twitter or X?
Twixer, obviously.
I've started to use X.
No, Twixer.
It's growing on me.
All right.
I think he doesn't like both answers.
Milana, thank you for the store purchase. They say great work. Excited for more EJ and the gang.
Hello. Thank you.
What did they grab from the old store arena here? Oh, it's not working. Jay, it's not working. All right. Well, thank you for the store purchase. Let's, I guess, move on from IM1, and let's talk about New Glenn.
New Glenn's.
Who wants to take? I'm just gonna give it to Adrian. I know you love New Glenn, EJ, but we'll let Adrian start just because he's an unabashed
New Glenn's.
Blue Origin stan.
All right.
I'm not a Blue Origin stan. I just like I just like New Glenn a lot.
Don't look so offended.
It's an amazing rocket, and apparently, based on what we're seeing, and there was some testing going on with it, at least the oxygen tank saw some cryo load. So New Glenn is getting tested slowly but surely here, and that's what we want to see here. And also, our team went out there and got some amazing shots here. Like, look at this. Like, this is it's a beautiful rocket. And now imagine the aero surfaces attached to it. It's gonna look even better. It's already great. It's gonna look even greater. I mean, it's a beautiful rocket.
I'm super excited to see the aero surfaces on there because as cool as it looks now, it looks slightly incomplete. And so just because we've seen renders of it and whatnot, so very excited to see that. And definitely props to the East Coast team out there. Max, D, and Julia all coming out in force and getting some truly superb imagery. I think Steven might have as well. Go ahead.
I have two questions. First one, did Patrick just like the tweet that was on the screen?
He did. That was a good. I
Yes,
thought that was a nice touch.
Okay. Second of all, where are the metal prints, Jack?
There are metal prints. Adrian, take it away.
Where are they?
If you go to shop.nasaspaceflight.com and go to the metal prints, you can see 2 shots of New Glenn. And I can tell you, there was a moment where I was talking with some other NSFers, and I was excited the moment I could say, we now have New Glenn as a category in the metal prints. Like, that was just, I was excited to click this. And yes, they're amazing. They're like, I love them, and I will get them as well. Like, I mean, yes, I'm a bit of a New Glenn stan, so I want to talk about well. Thank you, Jack. Like, it's branded now.
I love how this conversation started with that you weren't, and now you just admitted it. You went through 7 stages of grief in your explanation.
The resistance was very low. It was like,
awesome.
Like, no, I'm not. Like, that was all I got. And after that, it was like, no, yeah, I am.
Yeah, okay.
He's right.
Yeah, but yeah, these shots are super cool. They're printed directly on metal, super easy to hang on your wall. They look great. They don't need a frame. No fuss, no muss. Super easy. And again, they look absolutely great. And the coolest part of the metal prints is a portion of the sale of the print goes to the photographer who made the image. So you're not only supporting NSF, you're not only getting something cool to put on your wall, but you're also helping to support the person whose work you decided you liked enough that you wanted on your wall. So
Just reposted it. I saw it. It's on the mouse.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's engagement. He's showing people what to do. Although he hasn't liked it yet, which confuses me.
Yep.
Can you show us the biggest launch tower at the Cape, please, quickly?
Thank you. Here we go.
With the mouse.
There
we go.
No, that's a lightning tower.
Yeah.
Nope, that's a lightning tower. That's also a lightning tower. Don't go to the water. I knew you were going to go to the water tower. Don't. All right, Patrick. I'm not trusting you again. Where even were we? So New Glenn is awesome, and we not only had team members go out on a boat and shoot it from the ocean and shoot it from the various, best possible vantage points on land, but we also have a flyover coming down the pipe early next week. So a lot of New Glenn footage coming in. And if you remember, or if you got gifted a membership on this stream, go to the community page on YouTube and check out all of the 6 shots that are getting posted for members over there, because what a beautiful rocket. Just like makes you so happy to see. Adrian, to your point, I'm so glad that we have Prince of New Glenn in the store. And I feel like it's just been such a long time coming. And the pace of testing is essentially what I would hope to see in my wildest dreams. Like, I did not anticipate them getting into proof testing or GSE testing or cryo testing this rapidly. But maybe I'm just a big, dumb, stupid head. I don't know. What do you think, EJ? Were you surprised to see the cryo testing going on?
Yeah, I was. I didn't think they would go through it that soon, but here we are. I mean, I've always said that, Blue has that big factory. If you've ever been down to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, it's across the street, and it's not small. It is not a small structure or group of structures. They've been cooking, and they've been cooking for a while. So I always said, whenever Blue has something to show us, they're going to show us, and it's going to come at us quick. And here we are. Shout out to those guys. I mean, cranking out a 7-meter launch vehicle, just like, oh, here you go, and here's more. It's like, oh, all right, thanks, guys. I'm not upset. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, thanks to the flyover script that I just recorded, I learned it's the 3rd biggest rocket that will ever launch from Florida, after the Saturn V and SLS. It's
Crazy.
98 meters tall.
Yeah, that's not small.
It's a giant rocket.
Can we get that comparison shot that Jay did? Patrick, do you have that?
I will search for it.
Because Jay sort of did a to scale comparison between Starship and New Glenn, and that is fantastic. Given that really helps you wrap your head around the scale. Keep going. There, up. There you go.
Oh, there was a Stennis test in there. That's sweet.
Look at that.
Yeah, dude, what a monster. I mean, like I said, it ain't as big as Starship, but it's almost as big as Starship. That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it's utterly wild.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason New Glenn seems sometimes a bit smaller is because LC-36 is so ginormous.
Yeah.
Like, when you see it on a launch pad, you're like, oh, that's a cute rocket. But then you Google how big that tower next to it is, and you're like, oh,
right.
No, I get it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically why I like this image so much, because exactly as you said, those towers are so huge, it can be sort of hard to wrap your head around the scale of the dang thing. I have a stupid, I'm a big dumb stupid head question. Was there anything at 36 before Blue Origin, or do they buy it and build it up themselves?
That's 36 is a, well, actually, I mean, what Blue's using now is actually 3 launch pads. It's 3. It's LC-11, former Slick 36A, and Slick 36B. The original Complex 36 was a twin pad launch complex supporting Atlas Centaur. Heck, it launched the Surveyor mission. NASA's first soft landing on the moon went out of 36, if I'm remembering correctly, amongst other things. And it was Atlas Centaur, and then it was used for the last thing that was used on that pad. I mean, there was a bunch of other vehicles. The last thing that was used on that pad was Atlas 3 in the early 2000s. And then Atlas 3 went out, and they switched to Atlas 5 at Slick 41, and it's been doing nothing since. LC-11, if I'm also remembering right, was a Atlas Agena launch pad that was used in the early 60s, and then they stopped using it, and it's been sitting there for a long time. But that's, Blue, they took the lease on 36A, B, and LC-11 and made what is Complex 36 now out of 3 launch complexes. It's crazy. It's not a small launch facility.
Which is also why it's always correct to refer to it as LC-36 and not Slick 36. Like that's a technicality that comes up a lot, and I know there's some Blue Origin fans that are getting very angry if you call it Slick 36. It's LC.
I mean, I am nothing if not appreciative of being particular with nomenclature, so as evidenced by my own ranting on this and many other streams.
Yeah, if you refuse LC36, I will call it Hoppy until the end of the day.
No, I would not refuse it. I would also not call a pan a tilt, or a tilt a pan. Or a zoom a wipe, or a wipe a zoom. Anyways.
Pan and tilt are on 2 different axes. That's like calling yaw pitch.
I know. It drives
What's
me
wrong
crazy.
What? Everybody says pan, don't they, Jack? Yeah.
Patrick just did a wipe. Patrick, don't do wipes.
Do a cube zoom.
Don't do a cube zoom. Why? It's so bad. It's so bad.
Wait, we can do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you can't, but Patrick can.
Wait, no. If I snap my fingers in 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, it'll work. Oh, you're in trouble now.
EJ has unlimited power. Well,
Oh my God.
Okay, that one was kind of sick. That one was kind of sick. I'll give you that. No, I can't. Now I'm encouraging him. This is the opposite of what we should be doing. Anyways, New Glenn, the dish.
The dish.
Rankley is asking, was the tanking ops for New Glenn performed with a test article or actual flight hardware?
That's a good question. The tanks on that New Glenn, I believe, are flight. Adrian, yeah?
Correct.
Yep.
It's a flight tankage that will, after this test campaign, will be rolled back to the hangar, and then we'll get a new aft section and probably also a new forward section, get engines, and then it will be a flight booster. That's actually a technicality I want to add. We don't know if this is the first flight booster because that was never said in any statement. There could be another, because we know there's other hardware. Blue Origin is already working on several tanks here. We don't know if this is the first flight hardware, but it's flight hardware. They could always, their whole warehouse is so enormous. They could just have another just laying there and rolling it out. It's no, that's the first flight booster. And I'm not even joking. That hangar is so gigantic. At any point, there could be something in there what you didn't expect. It's always a possibility.
A pony?
There could be a pony in there. There could even be 2 or 3 ponies in there, maybe.
Like an entire herd of ponies?
Possibly. I'm not I think it's not the purpose of the building, so I'm not sure. But yeah, they're also building. By the way, they're also building, and that's another thing, and we'll show exactly in the flyover. They're building another 190,000 square foot building. If I'm correctly on the number here.
Yeah, no big deal. Whatever.
That's whatever.
It's just tiny. It's a small little guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
is it even called a building? It's a tent, right?
Yeah.
I thought that's where you build rockets. Was in tents.
Yes, Elon.
Milana, thank you. Okay, let's see if this is working now. Hey, it is working now. Thanks for the store purchases. What'd they get? Is it going to show up? Hey, they got the patch. You see, I got the patch. Yay, patch. It's a great patch.
So cool.
Adrian, do we still have Flight 1 and 2 patches in stock, or are they almost gone?
Flight 1 is very much trending to be gone soon. Flight 2 is a bit more. Flight 3 is also there's a good chance after the Flight 3 campaign that all of the free patches will be gone.
So if you want them, get them now. Musical Wolves, thanks for the support. They say, researching how to make a plant grow a camera fund. Joe Dog McKeel, thank you for the support. They say, one reason Jack should not wear a kilt at Starbase. Mosquitoes. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Hey, they invented bug spray for a reason, okay?
Adrian, explain.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help.
It really doesn't.
You can do a full can of them. They don't care. They have these mutated murder mosquitoes in Boca that they don't care. I still have this picture of Jack in my mind where he comes out of dunes, like spraying himself with bug spray. And he was covered in bugs. Like I'm not even like they were everywhere.
They're like trying to fly into your eye or like into your nose or like it's ridiculous. When it gets really bad out there, it gets really bad out there. There was a time where Sean and I were going out to one of our camera sites, and we doused ourselves with bug spray, then took like 10 steps out into the dunes, and were immediately in clouds of mosquitoes. And we fled back to the vehicles, and then like did the thing where you spray the bug spray into your hand so you accumulate some actual liquid instead of spray, and then like smeared that all over ourselves. And that lasted like halfway to the camera site. And then we get there, and Sean is like beet red, and his hands are all red, and he's like, "Hey, I'm feeling tingly. I think I might be allergic." So even then, bug spray is not adequate. But I don't even want to think about those mosquitoes plus kilt. That's like a cursed. I can't believe you typed that out and I read it out loud on the internet. Anyways, Jim Cabot, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. A Cow. I'm assuming this is Apocalypse Cow.
Probably.
With a $500 tip. Another $500 tip.
Bro.
They say, can't let RC and he who will not be named have all the fun. Thank you, Apocalypse Cow.
He will not be named.
Apocalypse Cow was clearly here for what we shall only refer to as the mishap. But yeah.
The dish.
The dish.
The dish.
The dish.
Thank you, Apocalypse Cow. Seriously, thank you to everybody for coming out and supporting what we do.
I feel like.
Go ahead.
At this point, like, if we ever do like post-show titles, like basically give the show a title after the show, it would just be the dish hand waves. Like It's like that's the show title.
That's a thing I was talking to Kevin about. I think we should do show titles. I think like many podcasts that I listen to, the title of each NSF Live episode should be something that was said during the episode. So in this case, the dish would be an appropriate name for the episode. It would be esoteric, and people would be like, people that don't know what we are or what we do on YouTube would be like, "What is this? I have no idea." But I like it. Okay, so
that's what matters.
I do think we should have names for each episode. Apocalypse Cow.
Are we doing like live? Are we doing live pitching right now in the show? Like, is this?
If you want, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just
going to. Does the dish know where it is? Or
what?
Does the dish know where it isn't?
Yes. It something deviation. The missile. I don't know. I forgot. I'm drawing a dang blank. But thank you, Apocalypse Cow. Does Apocalypse Cow know where they are? They probably
by knowing where they aren't.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody named Alex Physics. That's a dumb name.
Pi 6 or something.
Yeah,
I think it's Phil Slosh.
Sloshing. That's super heavy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
JK Video. Thank you for the support.
Who was there? Who understands it? If you were there, you're there. If you know, you know. Good for you.
I was reading. Well, I missed it. What was it?
Well, that was from the commentary stream this morning. Phil Slosh. Alex is Phil Slosh.
I missed it.
Sorry.
I let you all down. I'm a failure. Tanner. Thank you for the store purchases. They say, do you think it's possible for SpaceX to do Launch 4 on 4/20/24?
I want to believe.
Yeah, much like the X-Files, I want to believe.
Actually, I mean, okay, jokes aside, haven't they applied for like 9 launches for the rest of the year or something? So
yes,
it is possible. That is possible. I'd say that's in the realm of possibility here. Absolutely.
Yeah, it really depends on when they get 3 off the ground and how 3 goes. But with 29 already getting into testing of its own, it seems. Adrian, what's the face you're making? You're making a face.
I mean, the good thing is I can now in the show also use my Yes, if they reach Hawaii with Flight 3. That's my, or like if they reach like splashdown zone with Flight 3. That's the only condition. Otherwise, they get a mishap investigation. They have to conduct a mishap investigation. No way that happens in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it goes perfectly, magically, and there's no mishap investigation, plausible. Jimmy Wright is asking, when flight ready, New Glenn?
Oh, yeah, we're a couple months out. I mean, I actually wanted to touch on this when you were talking about it before, Adrian. I it's possible that they're doing parallel processing. So you said that core that's out there might not be the first flight. It's entirely possible that they are testing that core, testing the tankage, and based off of what they're learning or not learning from that, they could be building the Flight 1 core in the hangar right now. And also, there might be ponies. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
So if they're doing parallel, it's going to happen sooner rather than later, right? But, I mean, it really depends on their dev cycle, and we don't know what that is.
Yep. We know there's a second stage already being tested on the in the 2CAT facility, to my knowledge, right now. More on that on the flyover. But there is at least a second stage around. Sorry, I'm still like, I have the script in my mind, so I'm like always recalling. Like, I'm leaking way too much right now. I'm about to get like DMs of like, hey, you shouldn't say this yet. Yeah, there's a second stage also floating around. Go ahead. Stay tuned.
Keep the questions coming, y'all. These are some good ones. Vaquero is asking, do we expect more structure to be added to the LC-36 tower? Is there going to like a crew arm at some point, maybe, or like what? Do we expect any major mods to that before the first launch, or maybe sometime down the line?
Yeah, of course. One is very different from the other there. I mean, you can tell from the picture because of the way it is. That's pretty neat. It's sorry. It's pretty clear that they're gonna, I mean, I would go so far as to say, like, just speculation on my part. People are going to disagree. It's the internet. I understand. I would say that they're probably rating New Glenn for people. And I mean, you wouldn't see a crew access arm like that or a fixed service structure built like that if they weren't. So Blue's cooking up something. I mean, they might be cooking up some human spacecraft. They might be using one off the shelf that they kind of seem to be doing that, especially like with their first stage engines. I don't know. But that is definitely there because in the future there is planned expansion for some type of human rating. I think they wouldn't build it that way if they weren't. But once again, keep in mind that they could build that and not have any plans at the moment. It could just be future-proof, just maybe as a systems development like extension, like you could maybe build a human-rated spacecraft for this maybe down the road. If you're going to build the launch tower, right? If you're going to build the lightning rod there, you might as well do that if you might have plans to do it in the future. So, who knows?
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
E4 Tango is asking, New Glenn or Ship 26, which is more despised? I think categorically Ship 26. Does anyone actually despise New Glenn, and why would you? It's amazing. All right, moving along.
I don't know. People don't like things on the internet.
I don't like things on the internet, but I'm a curmudgeon.
Important clarification here for everybody that might be confused about this. You're allowed to like more than one rocket. That's it's like you're allowed to have like one. It's not a skill you have to pick. Like I only like one rocket. Like it's I'm excited about like a lot of rockets actually.
I am greedy, man. Anybody that has the stones to try and put a launch vehicle together and send it into space has my undying support. I'm greedy. I want more rockets, not less. Ain't nobody gonna convince me otherwise. Please, more. Sorry.
Okay, this person's name, is this Saint Effin? Or is it Stephen? Or is it Steven? Anyways, they're saying slick is to slick as LC is to lick. Are we going to call it lick
Jack.
36? Is
That was a haiku.
Is it really?
No.
I was like, how did you count the syllables that fast?
No.
It's a talent of EJ. He instantly knows every syllable of like a full page of. You should test it out when you meet him in real life. Just hand him a page. How many syllables?
Now all I want to do is write haikus about spaceflight. Maybe we'll have a competition for next week's NSF Live. Who can write the best spaceflight haiku?
I'm not doing this.
You're not?
I'm so glad Sawyer's back next week.
I'm not doing this.
Oh, okay. What are we looking at right now?
Dishes.
The dish.
The dish.
The
dish is.
The dish.
Do you also do when you do this movement? Do you also do the flip of your hands? You have to raise your arms and then flip it, right?
The dish.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, you get your hands close to the lens so you can really the dish. Yeah,
everybody who's making live clips of the show, enjoy this segment.
Let's see. A couple more new Glenn questions, if I can find some.
Somebody, Animal 104 over in Twitch chat gifted a sub to _dish.
Nice.
Yep. Thanks.
That's
Animal.
commitment.
The dish.
Insert Starship Trooper gif. I'm doing my part.
Okay.
Jennifer, thanks for the store purchase. They say thanks for the great coverage. They got the patch. Hop Hayes, thank you for the super chat. They say, what Falcon Heavy flight should I plan a trip to Florida around this year? Thanks for all the amazing content. Got the calendar this year as a Christmas gift. All of them. I mean, that's not a good answer, but it is also the best answer. But if they could only do one, they can only do one, EJ.
Yeah, I don't know what manifested Falcon Heavy missions are coming down the pipe. Do we have a list of that, Alex?
We have Ghost U, we have Europa Clipper, and we have Griffin.
Europa Clipper.
Absolutely.
Unquestionably Europa Clipper.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already from Europe, so it's the European going to the Europa Clipper. Go ahead, just go on. That doesn't work.
You know how they have the popsicles where you eat the popsicle and there's a little joke on the stick. You know what I'm talking about? They should put some jokes on the Europa Clipper spacecraft, and then we could call it Europa Quipper.
Moving on.
Okay, Anonymous. Thank you for the store purchases. They say, love you guys. The bantering is hilarious. What did they get? You back?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. Thanks.
I had to go tie my shoes or something.
Thanks for coming back.
Oh, you're welcome.
Rankly gifting a Red Team membership, and Apocalypse Cow again with a huge amount of support, gifting 20 Red Team memberships. Thank you, Apocalypse Cow. Thank you to everybody. This might be our most supported NSF Live ever. Ever. So
this NSF Live is made possible by viewers like the Dish.
Oh, you got me. You got me. But for real, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you all for the support. It's incredibly amazing.
Thanks for the good vibes, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Oh, and Hop Hayes with another $5 super says, Europa Clipper, it is decided. EJ can retire now.
Yep, my life is complete.
But the problem is, here's the problem. If you go to Europa Clipper and say it scrubs or something, or viewing conditions aren't great, you can't be mad at us. That's the disclaimer here.
There's also another problem with Europa Clipper, right?
What?
You can be mad at me. It's fine.
You won't see a landing.
Oh, because everything's expended?
I think Europa Clipper should be a fully expendable Falcon Heavy, so...
That's just going to look weird.
Maybe it's not the right answer, because the double booster landing is kind of the icing on the Falcon Heavy cake.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Maybe Goes.
Yeah,
Ghost should be double landing, double LZs.
I would say whichever one has the double RTLS and whichever one is during the day, because I am partial to day launches. So whatever fulfills that criteria is probably. But also, if you can go for Europa Clipper, like why would you not? Like if I can go back in time and be there for Hubble launching, I would go for that. If I can go back in time and be there for, any like New Horizons launching, I would be there for. Actually, hang on, somebody talk. Was I there for New Horizons?
I was gonna say I watched Hubble launch with my dad.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean it was on NASA TV. NASA TV was on basic cable back in the day. Yeah, I watched Hubble launch with my dad. My dad's like, "Here, son, look at this." I don't know. I was like 3 or 4 or something, and I'm like, "What's this, Dad?" He's like, "Watch this." I'm like, "Watch this." Space shuttle was introduced at a very young age. What can I tell you?
It's a good dad.
Yep.
Quality dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Astro Knucklehead, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership, and someone whose name I'm not going to say on air. Thank you for the $50 tip. Huh?
Was it bullet hole again?
It was not bullet hole, but it was similar, is what I'll say. But it's a $50 tip, and we really appreciate you. But I'm not going to read this on air. They say it ain't over yet, but I'm not even gonna show it on air because it's naughty. But thank you for the support,
my guy or girl.
I see what you did. I see what you tried to do there.
It was worth a shot, Chad. I mean,
yeah, worth a shot. And again, every little bit of support helps. If you can't support us monetarily, that's totally cool. That's why we're supported by viewers like you, because you don't have to do that. You can just hit the like button and subscribe and tell a friend about us. That's plenty of support. We appreciate any sort of support you want to give us, however you want to give it to us. Let's see. All right, well, New Glenn, anything else we want to hit on for good old New Glenn?
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. That guy, the guy that tipped $50, that's just the name of a band. I'm just saying. Surfers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just the name of a band.
I know the band. Right? I'm well aware.
All right. Bullet's back.
So it was them. So it's confirmed that it was them. Okay. Got it. Bullet hole shooter saying, just had to do that. I've been watching before the first hop. That's awesome.
I'm on to you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being a long time viewer. Those were the good old days. I mean, we're still in the good old days, but those were also good days.
Yeah. Those first flight tests were really fun, man.
Heck yeah.
Really fun. Good times.
I remember just thinking, like, this is insane. This is going to be comparatively a very short period of time. I better spend as much time and energy and money as I can covering this, because if I don't, I'm going to regret it. And I'm really glad I did. I don't make the best decisions in life sometimes, but that one was a good one.
Yeah. When the first Starship went off, I think it was 8. I did the Vince McMahon.jpg and went, like,
nice.
Like it was nuts. I was like sitting there, I'm like, is it gonna launch? Oh my god, it's flying! Like,
yeah, awesome. I think of all of the launches, 8 was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And 10 is the one that I feel like I captured the best.
Yeah.
But 8 will always be my favorite, because there was so much new, so many unknowns. People were trying to figure out if it was going to be supersonic or what they were going to do here or what they were going to do there, and it was just, we went in completely blind, and what a ride. What a wild ride.
Sometimes you gotta lick the stamp and send it, man.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
Even if the FAA says no.
That's just the way she goes, but it's launching. I'm sorry, I already hit the launch button. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the best statement ever in an FAA document. While telling SpaceX about our decision, we observed liftoff on the screen.
Is Patrick bored? Are we boring you, Patrick?
Yes. Sorry?
Wow.
I'm just looking
for the record, my favorite one is Flight 1. Because I was there. I think that's a valid reason to call it my favorite one.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's fair.
You saw the first flight of the world's largest rocket by far. From up
it's-
close and in person. Like, how is that not? That is completely reasonable.
Yeah, basically, I was like, I had seen no launches before, and like the scale of like seeing no launches before was like 0, and then it peaked to like Starship first flight. It's like there was no curve. It just peaked.
Can we demod Harry Stranger?
Oh no,
Can
what is he saying?
Can we remove his mod status, please?
Ah, Harry. Harry.
Oh,
We
Harry.
I think we need to remove Harry's mod status.
That's very strange coming from you. Considering that clouds obscured the whole thing. That's weird. What are you doing?
Yeah,
What are you doing,
like
man?
now siding with the clouds.
Yeah, that's weird. Why would you do that?
Harry, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Oh, dude, look at that, man. Oh, it's so
All right,
cool.
well, I mean, we're talking about Starship. You want to just jump to Starship, or should we do this collision guy first here? Let's do the collision guy first. I feel like that's probably not going to take too long. Great idea, Jack. I agree.
Perfect.
Yes.
Cool. Who wants to wrangle this puppy?
Adrian, do it.
I mean, we had a almost collision.
Sorry,
in,
sorry. Was that the equivalent of not it? I think not it. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, the fixed mission. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Adrian, do it.
Yeah,
Do your
we
thing.
had the whole situation of between NASA's timed spacecraft and Russia Cosmos 2221, which got very, very, very close to colliding, like in a less than 20 meters apart way. And this was a significant event because these two are operating in very busy orbits and very busy low areas. So a collision of these two would have meant severe implications for operations in these orbits. So, and again, they were like less than 20 meters between them when they almost collided, and there was no way to like steer them or like start to move an avoidance. It was basically just a let's hope for the best, and it doesn't happen. And I thought that was a pretty scary event this week. Like that was, we don't like that.
Yeah, we don't want Kessler syndrome. I can't even talk. EJ, go ahead.
20 meters is splitting hairs, guys. That's real close. Adrian, what orbits were these in? You said they were in a busy orbit. What do you know the parameters offhand? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Give me a second. Give you the
sure.
exact numbers because if I'm
trying to look at the numbers there on
While you're finding the numbers, I have a very important update. Harry Stranger was demodded and then remodded. But I'll let that be a warning to you.
apparently in a perigee of 590 kilometers, but with an apogee of 612 kilometers is the operation of Cosmos 2221.
Okay.
So that's like
yeah.
prime Leo.
Yeah, you gotta be careful once you get up above 500 kilometers, or what is it, like I think it's 370 miles. You gotta be careful once you get up there, because that is the point where whatever happens up there is gonna stay up there for a long time. If you get kind of below 500, that's when you start really skirting the parts of the atmosphere. So stuff will come back down. That's kind of where Starlink and the ISS and a bunch of other things are. But you get up 500, 600, 700. If something collides up there, it's not coming down. That's just a giant bullet hole sandwich that we need to deal with now.
Really?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Really?
I went there.
And it's also and they also get into the situation where once they start to at some point when in the future come down, it's passing through all the Starlinks, it's passing through ISS level of orbit. It's like it's basically like it's already bad for that orbit, and then once it starts in a few years to go a bit down, you suddenly have a cloud moving through your ISS level, your Starlink level, and creating multiple objects there that are not like they cannot avoid. They're at this point they're just a giant cloud of trash kind of just flying around. So it's kind of a bad situation, and I'm glad we avoided, like, we didn't get this collision, because that's bad.
Yeah, what did you say? 20 meters? That's insane. That is
That's yeah.
just
The
like
collision would not very cash money. That would be not cool.
it would be credit, debit, money.
It's,
I
yeah.
don't know. They can't. I can't all be good jokes.
And,
okay.
Bruh.
And just to also add that the relative speed to these objects to each other, they would have collided with 14,000 kilometers a second.
Yeah, that's like
14 kilometers a second. Sorry.
that's like 7 times the speed of a rifle cartridge, fellas. Just in case anybody was wondering, like, sniper rifle, like it's going 7 times faster than that. Actually, more. Depends on the rifle.
Yeah, it would have been basically left nothing of these two satellites. They collide with 14 kilometers a second. They just become like a cloud of material. There's nothing left of these objects after that. So yeah, no good. We don't like collisions.
No, you don't want that.
We don't like the Kessler syndrome. We don't like in-space collisions, and we're happy that it didn't happen.
It's a rapid unplanned docking.
Right, Ronald. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Good stuff. But like, I mean, as we get every country, a whole bunch of private companies launching LEO constellations and launching, more and more satellites as access to space gets opened up further and further going into the future. What do we do? Is LEO going to get too full? Is there, some kind of air traffic control for orbits that we can set up? I mean, I know United States Space Force kind of does a little bit of that already. Like, do we need to regulation? How do you even do that? Given it's a whole bunch of different countries, like. So
we can. In the U.S. here, we can regulate it. It was all condensed down into the FAA, one entity, because that's the idea is to normalize space flight, make it like flying an airplane, right? You make it just normal part of the air traffic that happens. Now, in terms of other countries, no, they can launch pretty much whatever they want. I mean, it's good. Everybody tells everybody where they're sending stuff, within reason. But yeah, Jack, that's the Space Force. That's part of the reason why the Space Force was made. Because orbital operations, more people are joining that, LEO club, more countries, more commercial entities. There's a lot more traffic up there. That's why the space domain was kind of expanded off into a department of the Air Force. Now, are we going to see battleships in space to like zap space debris or something? I'm doing my part.
Yes, please.
I mean, I mean, that would be kind of cool. I mean, playing Helldivers in real life, that'd be neat. But no, that's not really why the Space Force was expanded. You're not going to see stuff like that. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. But part of it is expanding space control squadrons. So Space Force has deltas. Those are the divisions, right? In the deltas, particularly I think it's the Delta 6. So that's a space control squadron. What these squadrons do, you talked about air traffic control. We can regulate what we launch, but not what everybody launches. So these control squadrons are really doing the kind of bedrock work for what the Space Force was founded for. The two big reasons with the Space Force: space situational awareness and space debris management. And the control squadrons represent the space situational awareness part. These are guys with telescopes that are looking up there, doing observations, and just
and other satellites, right? Like ground-based and space-based situational awareness. Very important.
So the control squadrons operate satellites up there for missile detection or satellite detection, and then there's telescopes down here on the ground that people peeping through those 24 hours a day, and we catalog all the debris up there. So or satellites too, so we know where it is, so we can figure out where it isn't. Yeah.
Nice.
But debris management is pretty self-explanatory. But situational awareness, space situational awareness, and space debris management are the two big ones. And those control squadrons are part of the reason why we knew about this collision in the first place, and how we can be like, how are you going to track a satellite? How do you know where that is?
Right.
Did you watch the direction where the rocket launched? No, it's those people in the background. That's what's going to get us to the point where you and I could take a ticket up into space, like we're taking a trip to Florida or something.
Yeah. sign me up. I want to get in my space Uber.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Can we go off the rails for a second? And I just I'm glad the Space Force was.
No.
No, we're going off the rails. I'm glad the Space Force was
boy.
created. I think it's necessary in these modern times. But how do we feel about the name Space Force? I think Space Corps would have been way better. Then we could have had Space Marines. Like Space Corps, hugely more cool than Space Force. How do you feel about the name, EJ?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I mean, Air Force, that's it, just Air Force.
But it's not Land Force. It's not Sea Force.
Well, what would you call the Air Force then? Air Corps?
No, I would call the Air Force the Air Force, and I would call the Space Force the Space Corps. Just because it sounds cool.
Before the Air Force, it was called the Army Air Corps.
I know, but I'm fine with Air Force. I just don't like Space Force. We already have a force. It's the Air Force. You need to split it up. And then I guess you could say, well, we have the Marine Corps, but then it goes back to my argument about Space Marines.
But the Marine Corps is a department of the Navy. And the Space Force is a department of the Air Force.
Fine.
Yes. New England clam chowder.
Is that the red or the white?
Never remember that. White. Yes.
Warzar. Thanks for becoming a Red Team member. Eric Spittle. Thank you for the $10 tip. They say dying laughing. Thank you so much for all you do. I hope you guys like the new format. I'm wagering by the response from today, from chat and whatnot, that y'all like the new, more conversational, looser NSF live. So hopefully, as we settle into the new format, y'all are liking it. EJ, why is your face so big?
Because Patrick zoomed in on the camera or something, man. I don't know. I can change the scene. I just don't have this power.
We all have to go closer to the camera.
I mean, that would make it look more proportionate, I guess.
Okay, perfect. We are doing this now.
No, I hate it. I hate it. I'm moving back. What is Anyways, Robert Knowles becoming a Capcom member. Thank you for doing that. You get Discord access, so jump into Discord and say hey.
Jura with the extreme close up. Whoa! You're the man.
Bullet.
That was awesome.
Hole Shooter. Thank you for the $5 super chat. They say I was down on the Starbase a while back, and is the Rocket Garden no longer public access? That is correct. You can no longer walk up to the Rocket Garden. That's why whenever we get questions from people about, should I go to Starbase, this or that, I always tell people to go. If you can go, because it's changing so fast, and tomorrow it might not look like it does today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the best moment to go to Starbase is now. The second best is probably tomorrow, and it's gonna restrict in access more and more. That's the nature of a active construction facility, because it's an active construction facility, right? So it's they will start to close up more areas because they are working there.
Right. Steve Kalovic, thank you for the support. They say, hi, Jack. As a photographer, I'd love to know what equipment you use, including lenses, and do you have a brand preference? I'm a Canon boy. I don't think necessarily Canon better than any other platform. I mean, if you're a Sony shooter, if you're a Nikon shooter, have at it. I prefer Canon just because that's what I learned on, and that's what I like. I feel like their lenses are pretty top notch, and that's how my brain wants to use a camera, as a Canon camera. That's just what I learned. I have a bunch of cameras. I have a 5D Mark III, I have a 6D Mark II, I have an 80D, two 60Ds, 50D, and I think I have a 7D. I don't know if it's a Mark I or Mark II. I have a bunch of Canon cameras because they're all remote cameras. And then my two main bodies are the R5. I have two R5s as well. So
that's a lot of cameras.
Yeah, it's like a decade of doing this and amassing cameras,
nice cameras,
slowly but surely. The trick is live in Los Angeles and have lots of friends that also have DSLRs and shoot things, but then who transition to another part of their career and then are like, hey, I don't need these cameras anymore. You want to buy them for cheap? And I'm like, yes, Yes, I do want to buy them for cheap.
Yes.
Nice. I have 3 nice lenses. I have a Canon RF 100 to 500. I have a Canon RF 24 to 105, and a just 16 millimeter pancake, also RF. And I have a bunch of other EF lenses and crappy lenses. I have a Sigma 150 to 600. Anyways, this has been photography talk. Steve, feel free to ping me on Instagram. I'm Neon Heat Disease over there, or send me a DM on Twitter. And if you want to talk shop more, we can talk shop more.
I was going to say I have a Holly 4150 and an Edelbrock 1405.
Are those are car parts, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I'm rocking a Logitech C920 here.
Nice.
Oh, dude, I got a C910. So that's probably why it looks like a potato.
There's the new version of the C920, right? I think, right? That's the even more chunky, bigger.
This is what I want. I want a box
Oh.
lens because back when I shot sports, this is the sort of thing that you use. It stays focused throughout the entire zoom range, and you typically get an insane zoom out of it. The problem is, Patrick, you want to scroll on over to the price of this puppy? Does it say somewhere? This is going to hurt all of your souls.
Ow.
Yeah, it's probably like a $200,000 or $300,000 lens. All the really good broadcast stuff is insanely expensive, and that is why we appreciate the support so much. But we don't buy broadcast gear like this because we just couldn't. I personally couldn't. NSF also couldn't. But we make do with what we can, and we do the very best we can with the resources that we have.
You could buy a lot of carburetors for that much.
It's true.
Just
Yeah,
saying.
casual $246,000 lens, but you can rent them. One of these days, I'll rent a box lens for a launch, and we'll do it up just like a proper sports broadcast setup. But yeah, cameras, they're expensive. Who knew?
I mean, once again, I'm a little biased. That might be more privy to carburetors. Carburetors atomize things. Rocket engines atomize things. It makes sense.
I'm more of a fuel injector kind of guy.
Fuel injection atomizes things too.
Yeah, but it's better than a carburetor.
Get out. Now.
No, actually,
I'm so far out of my knowledge here right now. It's like
Now.
I actually don't know enough about internal combustion engines. Why carburetor better than fuel injection, EJ?
Reliability. But you're adding complexity. It's a trade-off. Carburetor you can tune with a screwdriver. Fuel injection is most likely electronic fuel injection unless it's mechanical injection, in which case that's probably the most robust system that you could find. But most cars have electronic fuel injection. Oh, Porsche. Oh, wunderbar. Yeah. But most cars nowadays have electronic fuel injection, and you need a computer to tune it. You got to plug a laptop in. I need a screwdriver.
Makes
Right
sense.
here. I have the screwdriver, and guess what? It's a stubby.
Oh, those are the best.
oh.
Those are the best.
Just to point out, here stubby is good.
Yes, the one place where stubby is good.
Yep.
Shout out to Destin at Smarter Every Day for doing the clear carburetor. Did you see that video, EJ? It was a while back.
Yes.
But...
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So taking that fuel, right, putting it through the Venturi and pulling it, into low pressure, not vacuum, but close to vacuum, changing the air pressure really, really fast causes the fuel to spread out. Guess what? Rocket engines do that. Do the same thing. It's not, I understand the compression cycle, adiabatic versus, rocket compressor, those are two different things. For the nerds out there, I get it. But carburetors atomize air and fuel. That's no different than like a fuel-rich stage combustion cycle. Only the shuttle does it. The shuttle engines do it, and SLS engines do it with liquid hydrogen. Instead of gas, they take the hydrogen, turn it into gas, and then shoot liquid oxygen into it. A car engine is using gaseous oxidizer and liquid fuel. It's just in the form of gasoline, right? But it's the same thing. Rocket engines do that. Now, if you think about it, rocket engines do that not like, every once in a while, popping the fuel in when a valve opens and a piston's going down to pull it in. Rocket engines just do that. It's constant atomization. But it's a crazy balancing act here because you need low pressure to atomize liquid fuel and oxidizer in an injector plate on a rocket motor, right? But combustion chamber pressure is not low pressure. So think about what kind of pressure you need in the back of the injector plate on a rocket engine, right? Yeah, see, I turned this into a space talk, right? Because it's all connected. It's all similar, right? A rocket's just do it a lot more, and it's a lot more hardcore than a carburetor, but it's the same idea. Same thing. Yeah, good stuff, right?
They should call
injector plates.
they should call the injector plate the rocket burrito.
Yeah, we could do that.
You know, to match up with since it's not for a car, it's for a rocket.
Are Tesla's carbureted fuel injected? Yes, sure.
Quality
They are
question.
a toilet. Yeah, Cameron's right. It is a toilet with a float ball and the needle and seat. It's a freaking toilet, but it delivers gasoline instead of water. He's not wrong.
Crafty Geek, thank you for the $5 tip. They say, what space debris mitigation project do you think has the most potential? Any idea if the Sierra Space Shooting Star could do debris deorbiting as a secondary mission, or does it not have enough delta V on orbit? I don't know. I don't have a categorical knowledge of all the different proposed debris mitigation projects, but certainly it's going to need to be something that happens going forward.
Yeah, I want to
go
shout
ahead,
out
Adrian.
here the DLR, because I recently visited DLR and their robotics area, and they have a really cool project where they have all of these hands and like grab things that they explore for space, and they modified one of these to basically demonstrate the ability to grab a satellite, stop a rotation, and then like either move it to a different orbit or like deorbit it. It's kind of for like these kind of object that started to rotate out of some reason, or like started some sort of like movement, and they kind of want to like use this grabbing mechanism where you can basically grab onto everything, like as long as it's some rod somewhere, you can just grab it and then help to stabilize it using like some sort of thrust to kind of like stop the movement. It's kind of a cool concept. I saw like a demonstration of it in lab, and it's a really, really cool thing. And I look forward to more of these measures to not only remove debris, but also maybe extend the life cycle of things that we thought would be out of order, and then they can maybe like boost them again, get them stable again, and use them longer.
Yeah.
Now, you could do that, like the Northrop Grumman's MEV, right, Adrian? Something like that. Like that's what we're looking for, something that latches onto the payload attachment fitting.
Yes.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's good stuff. Now, I don't think Shooting Star, in the context of that question, I don't think Shooting Star has any propulsion on it, does it? I'm actually not 100% on that one.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't think it does. But I mean, if it did, then yeah, maybe. But it would need a grapple fixture on it. I mean, I'm not saying we couldn't do that.
Okay, hear me out. What if we make like an attachment for spacecraft that's like a little claw thing that comes out of a little shrouded nub, sort of Kerbal Space Program situation?
I mean, that's basically what the mission extension vehicle has on. It actually has like it works like a probe and drogue, like Apollo. So it has an extender that it sticks out and actually. Jeez, I hate explaining this. It locates itself on the nozzle of the satellite propulsion system, and then it has a claw that basically grabs at the payload attachment fitting.
Nice.
But it's kind of like that, but you can't just go around grabbing a spacecraft. Like George Nelson figured that out in the 80s when he tried to wrangle one with an MMU and a grapple fixture. It's one of the most gnarly shuttle missions. Chris, I know you're out there. I know you know what I'm talking about. I talked to that guy once. That guy's cool. Guy tried to go croc hunter and wrangle a satellite in space with a jetpack. Yeah, that actually happened. It's pretty sweet. Not a lot of people know about that.
And
he tried to wrangle the Solar Maximum, which is pretty cool.
And it did not go well, I take it from your comments?
No, it ended very poorly. He actually imparted rotation on it, and they had to basically, I mean, it's a little bit complicated from there, but they had to negate the rotation on it, but they basically did a come on TARS with the shuttle in the arm and grabbed the thing, and we were able to set it on the deck. That's one of my favorite shuttle missions because it was like the precursor for Hubble servicing missions. Pretty
Nice.
awesome mission.
I'm glad we got shuttle in so none of us get fired.
Yeah.
I'm never.
I'm not sure if we.
mention that.
I'm not sure if we can show that, Patrick. But I also posted a picture of the DLR thing. It's like also like basically a servicing satellite there that can grab and like latch onto another payload, and then before first use like thrusters to mimic their rotation, and then basically latch onto it, service it, deorbit, whatever. That's also the idea of that. It's really cool to see in lab because they also use like visual analysis to analyze like the rotation and match it. So they demonstrated basically in a really cool well in that lab. So also shout outs to them.
All right, so to wrap up the orbital debris near collision topic, I just have a line here in our notes that says, upside, space lasers. Space lasers can fix the problem. That's what it says. I don't...
That's not from me. That's I want to point out, I do these notes, that's not from me.
It's from Patrick, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so Patrick wants us to know that space lasers can fix the problem. Frickin' satellites with frickin' lasers on their domes. Is that so much to ask?
I mean, it's not the most far-fetched thing. All you got to do is just impart a little bit of delta V onto a satellite to deorbit it or to push it away or do whatever. Just generate a little bit of heat, melt something on it, and that'll impart some force on it. It's not the most far-fetched thing I've heard, to be honest with you, but that's a lot. You also need a lot of energy to do that. That's power on orbit is kind of
At a premium.
Yeah.
Cool. Claude, thank you for the store purchases. They say hello, all. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Claude. Glad you got the patch. Cameron Handeslick? Thank you for the support. They say carburetors are basically toilets, EJ. Yeah, we hit that one a little while ago.
Yeah, my guy.
Good stuff. Couple more questions that just from previous topics before we move on to Starship. Laura is asking, how Kerbal was the Nova Sea lander landing? EJ, as the resident
Kerbal missions,
as the resident Kerbal expert, perhaps you want to weigh in here.
It was one of the most Kerbal missions I've ever seen, ever. It was a privilege watching it live, well, quote unquote, right? It was a privilege seeing the mission unfold in front of us. Life imitates art. It's crazy. How many times, any Kerbal players out there? How many times you go to land on the moon, your lander tips over?
All the time.
Wild. It's wild to see it in real life.
So I eliminated that failure mode from my Kerbal play. What now always happens for me is I touch down and the engine bell hits the ground, and like I have like this lander on like Minmus without an engine bell anymore, and I'm like sitting there like, well, rescue mission it is.
Yeah, it didn't need that. It's fine. I mean,
yeah,
guys, going back to like, hey, this isn't the first time something's gone to land on the moon, and the business end ends up in the dirt. That happened on Apollo 15. Patrick, I don't know if you can go find a picture of Apollo. I think it was Apollo 15. I don't know if you can go find that, but the LMDE contacted the ground. It hit the ground and it crunched it. That happened on a manned mission, a crewed mission, right? Like that. This isn't the first time this has happened.
It's and they got home, so that's
they did get home. They there it is.
Wow, that does not.
Yeah,
look,
they crunched the nozzle.
Great.
This goes back to not to keep talking about the IM-1 mission. This goes back to everybody says, oh, well, we landed on the moon 52 years ago, dude. The Apollo program was not without its problems. Like Neil and Buzz almost didn't land on the first landing attempt. There were problems. It happened. 1201, 1202. They stack overflowed the computer, and Neil's like, nah, I got this. I'll land it by sight.
Way to
Whatever.
go, Buzz.
Yeah, right. Hey. In his defense, he said it would be okay to turn it on, and it was. All right. It was the computer. Okay.
I blame Buzz.
All right. Well, whatever. But yeah, I mean, the Apollo program isn't without its weird, things. This goes back to what I was saying. You're going to get curveballs. It's going to happen. In Apollo 16, one of the ALSEP experiments, John Young kicked it over and broke it. And he's like, well, my bad. Sorry about that, guys. NASA's like, well, all right, what are we gonna do? Yell at you? Like, okay. And also, you don't yell at John Young. You probably just be like, all right, off. I'm gonna go back to doing my thing.
Yeah.
He's just like removing his comms and it's like just going away, whatever.
Yep.
He's giving NASA a timeout.
I love
Yeah. He's like, I think you guys enjoy some quiet time for a little while.
John Young, just such a boss. I want to launch into space with a resting heart rate of like 60.
Dude,
It's just
not even
insane.
that. On the first shuttle mission
Right.
on STS-1, the guy
Yep.
was just like, this is neat. All right.
Yeah, cool.
Guess I'll just have a snack.
Yep.
Leisurely
It
take
seems
this.
like
Leisurely take this space plane into orbit.
Yep.
I mean, he
Yep.
technically was just commuting, right? Like
Right.
technically, he was just commuting to work.
Yep. Oh,
Let's see.
And then landed the thing too. Like he just landed. That's actually one of my favorite things. You know, after STS-1, when Columbia landed, John Young gets out, and it's funny because he's usually really reserved, but the guy's super hyped up, and he's like walking around the shuttle and everything. And he's just doing like air punches and stuff. It's that footage is out there. It's out there. It's pretty rad. Go and watch it. You'll be like, oh man, it's the hypest you're ever gonna see that guy. He's like, yeah, man, I just put this 60-ton thing down from space. No big deal. Boom.
Legendary.
Like, yeah.
Legendary.
All right.
Jerwa asking any new news on the New Glenn landing barge. I don't think so. I don't think we've gotten
I
anything
haven't
on
heard
that.
anything. No.
New barge?
Nothing.
No.
New barge, who this? Pedro is asking, who was the original creator of the channel? So, Chris Bergen, the Bergenator, created NASA Spaceflight like 17, 18 years ago. It was a news site. It is a forum. It's a news site. There's L2, which is a paid site of the forum. And it was a shuttle. It was a site made for documenting the shuttle. And then it grew. And it grew. And it grew. And then, a little somebody named Mary, aka Boca Chica Gal, started uploading a whole bunch of awesome photos and videos from Boca Chica. Also, shout out to Andy, who was doing it as well. And I think it was ultimately the server hosting costs for all the videos. Chris, the Bergenator, Bergen, was like, all right, we're gonna do a YouTube channel, and he started haphazardly bandicamming the video clips together. And that was right around the time of the pandemic, and nobody was hiring here in LA. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just edit all these videos. So Chris bandicammed him for a while, and then I sort of took the reins, and we did the daily videos for like every day for like, I want to say 2 or 3 years. It was insane.
Oh yeah.
It was
Dude,
insane.
I watch those videos daily.
We still do the daily style videos, but now they're sort of interspersed with a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, that's sort of the progression there. And I fully credit DOS for us live streaming. That is also a part of it as well, because that is a whole other, like, there's like 2 hemispheres to our YouTube coverage. There's like the live stream stuff, and then there's also the standard video stuff. So it's a team effort, you know. Took a lot of people working their butts off, and we're extremely thankful for everybody's hard work, especially Mary for just absolutely putting in the hours and making some really incredible imagery while she's at it.
And somewhere along the way, we lost a van, a minivan.
We didn't necessarily lose it. Like, it still exists.
Wait, you still have that thing?
It still exists in Starbase, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, still out there.
All right. Sweet.
EJ's seen the potential to let's repair that.
No. I
think-
no.
I don't wanna-
No, I'm good.
I don't want to leak anything, but Das has discussed what he would do if he could do something to it. We're not doing anything to the danger van. It's just sitting right now. But
Pickup truck.
I think that would be amazing. Although,
Really?
would it be a truck?
All right. Nope.
But you just called it a truck.
Ooh.
Like, if it has a bed, would that be a truck?
I'm not doing this.
You're not doing it. But you yourself
You-
said that I don't drive a truck, and that Sean doesn't drive a truck because they don't have beds. So if having a bed is a defining factor of a truck, and you modify a minivan so that it has a bed, is that not truck?
What's an El Camino to you?
Truck.
I
This is also a truck, for the record.
viewer added context. You right now see the conclusion of about 2,000 messages that were discussed between each other in a very heated discussion about what is a truck.
Patrick, just don't even try.
Not a truck.
Is that a T and an R, or is that a really haphazard N?
I think he's writing in Russian or something. I can't make out what that means.
I see a large lowercase n and then a lowercase capital N. Anyways, Patrick.
Can we take the telestrator away from him, please?
Yeah, somebody take the telestrator away from Patrick. I like every time he draws a heart, it's somehow worse than the previous heart that he drew. We love you, Patrick.
I love you.
Don't stop being you. All right, let's talk about Starship. Whee! Starship. I guess we'll start off with the announcement, announcement from SpaceX and from NASA that they are testing a whole bunch of hardware for the human landing system. How cool is this? We often talk about like, oh, we can see so much in Starbase, but surely there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we are not privy to, and that all of that stuff is probably very interesting. And this is a rare instance of us getting to learn a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes in terms of getting HLS ready.
Cool. Yep.
EJ, how does seeing these tests make you feel about the impending arrival of an HLS Starship?
It makes me feel pretty good. Also, Cameron in chat, thank you very much. You're the man. Appreciate it. That's absolutely right. So yeah, that footage that we're seeing right here is them installing what's called a 60 OF, 6 degrees of field movement. It's basically designed to simulate an incoming spacecraft. The docking ports that they're qualifying for Starship HLS are clearly NASA docking system derived and very much International Docking System standard spec, but it's really cool to see these components qualified. This is a hot take opinion. Everybody thinks Starship is the long lead item for landing people on the moon. I don't think it is. I really don't think so. I mean, it kind of depends on, as Adrian was saying before, it kind of depends on the FAA mishaps, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, that just because, we haven't seen a Starship launch doesn't mean they can't qualify other systems like this. There's always going to be stuff working in the background that we can't see. Yep. And that rig is one of them. There's always going to be stuff that we don't see, stuff that, might not be in the critical path, like Starship flying, right? That they are working on that will work based off of, because like I said, that's NDS derived, NASA docking standards derived. So that's something obviously similar to what Orion would be using. And it's similar to Dragon and Starliner in some ways, right? There's a set of international system standards called International Docking System Standards. That's a very clever name, I know. But these components are out there, and they're based off flight-proven things in the past. So if I'm remembering right, so are the environmental control systems, but I could be pulling that one out of my tail.
No, I think you're correct.
Yes. I think this is showing stuff that, you might not have thought that they'd be working on in the background, but they absolutely are. They're working on the elevator too, the side elevator to get down to the surface once they land. I'm hyped, man. I can't believe that in my lifetime we're seeing a lander that could put, not something that's just an aluminum balloon with some hypergol tanks attached to the side down onto the surface. This thing could put like a semi truck down there. It's
pretty wild,
pretty dang impressive. Yeah, it's really, really, really cool. I'm just happy to see it. I think it's amazing. This is awesome. I don't think Starship will be the long lead item. I think SpaceX will have it ready.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that, especially if permission to treat a rocket hostile.
Sure.
Granted. Okay. Especially because SLS sucks. It's gonna take a long time until we're ready, and I think Starship has plenty of time. The one thing that would worry me about Starship is the refueling, but I feel like that's a problem that'll be solved.
I think actually SLS is the least likely thing to be critical.
I agree. It's not the bottleneck anymore. The Orion capsule is.
Fair. Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, that's fair. Adrian, I just want to apologize to you. When I said SLS sucks, it was like I physically hurt you. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love SLS. I love that it's shuttle derived. I think it's a really cool looking rocket. I just wish Congress, as usual, hadn't just sort of botched the whole entire program and made it so that we're going to launch one every 2 years, which is really frustrating.
I have things to say.
Say the things. Permission to treat your co-host as hostile.
No, I mean, okay, you can blame Congress all you want. I'll be honest with you. That's the reason why NASA has a lunar program in the first place, is because of Congress, because they tried, when Constellation went out the door, which I still love. Yeah, I like Constellation. I'm sorry. Ares One is sweet.
Agreed.
You're not going to change my mind.
You're not going to be sorry about that.
Questions
I agree.
on this.
Totally
Right.
agree.
Cool. They tried to pull the plug on everything and tried to rely 100% on commercial. And Congress was the one that said, nope, you're not doing that. So that's good that we got SLS because of it. But see, here's the thing. You talked about giving them the right funding. It's not that they haven't given them the right or the wrong funding. It's timing. If you want to make a rocket work, you want to have a good programmatic, solid development of a launch vehicle. You're not just going to give it a lot of money right at the start. Design will ramp up and it'll go up. It's not just a flat line or anything. It's a bell curve. It'll go up and then it'll peak right around your first test flight, and it'll go down as you move into operations. And once again, that's a beer can. This is not my opinion. This is what the NASA's own systems engineering notebook says. That's what it says. This is an awesome book. It's free out there if you want to look at it. You want to know how to run a space program? You want to get good at running a space program in Kerbal? This helps. It's true.
I've never been more convinced than when somebody puts the NASA System Engineering Handbook in their hands and be like, it says it in here. Like that's just proper. Like I'm convinced. I have nothing I can say against this, because you just showed a book into a camera.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. It makes me sound smart. No. Okay. So seriously, this talks about funding. The funding goes on a bell curve. So you could just look at NASA's funding, look at, if you Google just NASA funding over time, you see that it goes up on a huge bell curve, and it peaks in about 1968. When was the first Saturn V flight? There you go. That's how you fund a space mission. And once again, this is in my opinion. This is NASA. Now, what they did with SLS is flat funded it. They said you're getting X amount every year, and we're just going to adjust the budget with inflation. So in the early parts of the SLS program, 2014, 2015, right, they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to launch in 2017. We're way ahead of schedule. It's all good. And then when they got to the point where that flat funding went past what they needed, we saw stall, right? It was 2017. Then it was 2018. Then it was 2019. Then it was 2020. And then all the way up until Artemis 1. It's because you need development money. You can't say, oh, I want a $2 billion launch vehicle and okay, here's $200 million a year. It takes time. It takes time to develop launch vehicles. It doesn't really matter what it is. Like even Starship, it's going to take time. It's going to take billions of dollars. There's no way Starship isn't a multi-billion-dollar program at this point. That would be ridiculous to think otherwise.
Oh, it definitely is. It's just
right?
To flat fund it like you're describing, it just physically hurts me.
And and then we wonder why we have so many problems with this. But now that we've basically come down on that bell curve, and once again you're on the other end, and the money is kind of getting aligned with your operational costs. That's when you'll start seeing more missions down the line. But that's when you could start scaling and building more SLSs. But now we have problems with Orion because of the exact same thing.
Also,
same thing.
Can we take a moment to lament the fact that the stupid second mobile launcher is going to cost billions and billions of dollars and be woefully late? Anyways,
that's what you get, man.
I'll stop complaining.
No. I think it's right. I think that's the right move. We have to fund these programs correctly. If you don't fund them, at a programmatic level according to NASA's own dang standards, you're going to get problems like this.
Yeah, it's penny wise, pound foolish. Classic penny wise, pound foolish.
I mean, dude, one could even make the argument that fixed funding for something like Starliner was not a good idea. Commercial Crew is firm fixed price, right? And the one like kind of axe in this entire argument is obviously Dragon, right? But you got to remember, SpaceX had plenty of experience launching capsules when the Commercial Crew contract was awarded. Fixed pricing is delaying Starliner, right? Everybody hates cost plus. I understand. Oh, cost plus sucks. Yeah, I get it. But look at how much extra money they've had to pay because you're developing a launch vehicle on a fixed price. That's hard to do, especially when not a launch vehicle, a capsule. That's hard to do, especially when people are involved, right? You can't assume all the costs. You've never made a capsule before, like you can't know how much that's going to cost. You've never done it. We don't know how much building a shuttle-derived launch vehicle is going to cost. We've never done it. We had never done it up until SLS, right? We tried to do it in the 80s with the NLS, with National Launch System, and they did that trade study with NLS concluded that expending shuttle engines was too expensive.
Ugh, it hurts.
Just saying.
It hurts.
I'm just putting it out there.
It hurts me physically. Let's move on and talk about Starship so I can be happy.
Dude, I could keep going. I mean, even Starship, you can make that argument there. They underfunded it, and NASA had to choose Starship because they had the lowest bid. They had a bid that's the only bid that they could even see through. Because the national team and Dynetics, they basically were telling you what it's going to cost, and because SpaceX had the low bid, because Congress underfunded the HLS program, there you go. Well, now you have Starship in your critical pathway to the surface of the moon.
Which,
So,
based on every NASA analysis and everybody, even every oversight ever, HLS was funded too late. If you look at there's these historic looks at programs. If you look at these, it's too late. It's basically, you cannot even blame all of these, even like Axiom, for the spacesuits. They're putting in a situation where, of course they want to apply. Of course they want to be part of the next part of the moon. But this all should have been funded 5 years ago. This all should have been given a proper curve to develop all of this, and not we are putting a last minute money balloon now at you. Please use these 500 million to make a miracle happen. That's yeah.
Every time we've gone and built a launch vehicle, historically, every time we've gone and built a launch vehicle and said, we're just going to build it and we're going to figure out what it's going to do later, it has not worked. We ended up actually paying more down the road than not implementing the full architecture from a programmatic standpoint from the beginning. Every time, without question. The crazy thing is I don't even think SLS is a bad launch vehicle. I think it's super capable. I think it needs a better upper stage and a bigger fairing. But I mean, US and Universal Stage Adapter, here we come, man. That's going to be a sweet launch vehicle. But
also, it's symmetrical on the core, which is very important for the aesthetics, and that's just because
that's fair.
I hate the diameter change on SLS. That's my hill I'm dying on. It's annoying.
And don't get me wrong, I love the way SLS looks. I mean, I grew up watching the shuttle. I love orange. SRBs, yay! Everything about the way SLS looks, I love. What I don't like is the programmatic and bureaucratic nonsense. I mean, do you even think we're going to get to a point where SLS is makes it to Block 1B, or that we even get to the exploration upper stage?
We're going to make it, but due to these funding constraints and flatlining your budget, it's going to take a long time. It's just going to take a long time. I think SLS is a plenty capable launch vehicle. If I had it my way, Michoud would be cranking out 4 core stages a year.
I wish. That'd be amazing.
The scalability is there. I think it would be foolish to think that, Boeing or Northrop Grumman or anybody would scale, would build their production lines for 1 launch a year and not have that potential to scale up or down into your assembly line there. I really don't think that they would do that. I think that Michoud could go into overdrive and produce a lot of core stage. I mean, RS-25Es would be your long lead item there, so we'd have to get a lot of those, and that would take some time. But I see no reason why SLS couldn't launch 4 times a year. In fact, I think it should be launching 4 times a year. I say block by the thing. I understand with the program momentum. I get it. It's a pipe dream, but I don't think SLS is a bad rocket. You give it the EUS, you give it the Universal Upper Stage and an Orion on top, and an uprated service module. Service modules needs more Delta V, but just my opinion. That's opinion. You don't technically even need that. And you have that thing build out gateway, send starships to the gateway. You got a nice, healthy, and robust lunar program. That's not bad architecture. It's just it's missing a couple pieces that we should have done a long time ago.
Yeah, it's I think talking to some people that like I when I was at Airbus to talk a bit about the people that built the service module, like what they said would help them is giving them a plan how much they need in a straight pipeline. Like they were able to put 3 or 4 in the pipeline right now and work on them in similar stages in the same facility at the same time and just process them one by one. Like basically going from module to module in a very like streamlined way. And I think that's just the approach. Like if you now imagine doing that with 2-3 flights a year. Now you really have to get a production chain going. You suddenly have the situation where you can save costs because, well, the rent for the room is still like the same. You just process more in it. And you get all of these cost savings based on the fact that you just do more.
And in bulk, man, it works.
Yeah. I think that should have been the approach, and it's really like, yeah. I wish there were some. We are kind of like building our. We should actually do that at some point. Just building our dream moon lander program. Like, you get a budget and just build your dream lunar program.
That'd be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
People are gonna hate me for this, but I think my dream is just SLS Block 2 with Starship. Think about the robustness you get from both of those systems, right? And I know what people are going to say. People are looking at me funny, like, well, why not just use Starship the whole time?
I would just rather they launch crew on a Dragon. Like, why do we need to launch?
That's fine.
Why do we not need to launch $1 billion rocket just because Orion is a chunky boy? Like, I know Orion's much bigger and it, much more comfortable for the trip to the moon and whatnot. But $1 billion to launch a crew is just like. And that comes down to, they're only building so many of these. If they actually got funded properly and they could build more, then it wouldn't be so much per launch. Like, I get it. It's just sort of ridiculous that we went from the Constellation program with the Ares 1 and a super simple-ish, cheap way to get crew up there. And then you have the heavy lift rocket for the stuff you need heavy lift stuff for. And then it's like, actually, we're going to do the heavy lift rocket, but by the way, it's for people. It's just like, huh? No, stop it.
I mean, yeah, SLS in an uncrewed variant with Ares 1 would be god tier. I mean, I still think the Constellation architecture is fantastic. The Ares 1 and Ares 5. And I was talking about roping, like how rockets are funded on a bell curve. I get it. A lot of people don't like Ares 1. I get it in Ares 5. Constellation would have been too expensive, yada, yada, yada. But see, here's the thing. If funded properly, obviously, right? If funded properly, Ares 1 development would have led into Ares 5 development. So you mitigate the amplitude of that bell curve. One launch vehicle basically paves the way to the other, right? You're doing slow and steady, iterative, programmatic. That's the word of the day, programmatic. You slow and steady iterative development on your launch vehicle. And what you learn from Ares 1, you can apply to Ares 5. Ares 5 has 5 segment boosters. Ares 5 has a J2X upper stage. One led into the other. That would keep the costs down. Instead, we just went right for the whole shebang-a-bang, human rated, super heavy launch vehicle, and then underfunded it on top of that. And guess what? Look at what happened. Funny thing is, SLS flew right around the time when Ares 5 was supposed to fly. Weird how that works.
Right.
We got to the same conclusion, but with way less steps, spending way more money.
Yeah, just setting way more money on. Anyways, we're supposed to be talking about Starship, and I said SLS sucks, and then we spent 30 minutes talking about SLS, which is, I mean, a cool discussion. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, for sure.
I'll put us back on the rails a little bit here.
You're the one that wanted to derail it in the first place, man.
I know, and I regret my decisions as per tradition. But yeah, I mean, I think we answered the big question there in terms of, do we think HLS will be a pacing item for Artemis? I think we all sort of resoundingly said no.
No.
I'm gonna
So-
say no-ish.
So what is the pacing item? Is it Orion?
Yeah, I think
Right now.
So I think it's one of three. It's either HLS, Orion, or the Axiom suits. Like one of these three. It's I have a high confidence it won't be the SLS rocket. Like no, it's just no. I think of these, I think Orion is the likely candidate because, based on also recent developments with the whole Artemis 2, Artemis 3 statements about the delays, I think right now Orion is the likely candidate, and then I would probably put Starship or the XM suits like on the second likely tier. And I want to both point out both are incredibly complex systems, so I'm not saying like even if they are the pacing item, that doesn't mean Starship or like SpaceX or Axiom has failed. That just means they're still trying to solve very like complex things in a short amount of time while making sure it's safe for crew. That's a lot of making it hard. And like I think the last part is always the biggest part here. They are not building this to put some cargo or like on the moon. They're doing this to land people there, and that means you cannot rush. You don't want to rush crew. Like you don't want to be in the later and be like, oh, we landed on the moon 1 year earlier, but for that the moon lander failed. Cool.
It's my moon lander, and I want it now.
Oh, don't no. Oh, I'm gonna get stuck
Call
in my
Bill
head.
Nelson. Okay.
I tell you, don't do that again.
It's my moon lander, and I want it now. All right. So yeah, Starship General. Let's mosey on over to
Do it.
what's been going on down in the old Starbies. Yeah, we have a full stack again. Yay.
Not only do we have a full stack, but isn't there another Starship right next to it?
Yeah, 29 is also at the launch site and just like, hey, what's up? Can we you want to hang out? And the full stack is like, go away. I'm over here. And it's like, hey, but you want to get some snacks? And it's like, no, go away, 29, go away. And it's like, hey, but you want to like see a movie later? And it's like, no, 29, no. It's like the annoying little brother.
First off, I love this acting that's going on here right now, and second, acting. But second, that has to be for photo ops, right? Like,
I don't know the reason.
Why would they move ship 29 next to like this current full stack? What are they doing?
Yeah, it's not even over at the suborbital side. It is just right next to the stack. So yeah, to me,
It's just right.
that
It's
is
just right there.
That is a photo flex.
Yeah, seems like I would not be surprised to see an X post tomorrow being like the third flight stack for Starship, and next to it the upper stage for the fourth one.
EJ, I love that we've got the pixelation on your green screen because it looks like you're surrounded by a cloud of mosquitoes that are just like 8-bit mosquitoes.
Get it off me! Get it off me!
I'm allergic to
accurate.
bees. Me too.
Bees in the car! Bees everywhere!
Oh, I just threw up on an ant pile.
Cool. Well, I think they're pissed.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, EJ. I knew you would jump on board.
Gotcha. It's my favorite movie.
Cameron okay, wait, Tommy Boy or Black Sheep?
Tommy Boy.
How do you feel about Black
Actually,
Sheep?
Black Sheep's good. Actually, to be honest, Blues Brothers is my favorite movie. But yeah, Tommy Boy is like very close.
It's so good. Adrian,
Mhm.
I'm so excited for you to someday watch Tommy Boy. It is a classic.
Cool. I never heard of it until now, but
like-
I'm looking forward.
Do you like my new attitude?
Yeah, I feel like there's a certain subtext going with it that you're actually like hiding the fact that you're still angry.
Yeah, I'm like in
no
my
f-
head, I'm furious.
Yeah, like I feel the subtext. Like I feel the subline here.
Adrian, I'm so excited to show you so many. Okay, I can't.
See?
I'm threw up in my mouth.
Yeah,
a
see,
little
there's there's certainly like a subtext here.
Cameron Hanzilk, thank you for the support. They say body on frame makes it a truck. Unibody makes it truck-like. Same but different. Got you, EJ.
That's what I was saying. Cameron knows.
Kenneth Cannon, thank you for the support. They say bring back the Danger Van merch. Well, Adrian is a store guy, so maybe he can make it happen for Flight 3 or something. Or maybe not. Maybe you just didn't get it because you didn't get it and you won't ever have it. Sorry. I was like, any thoughts? Is he going to say anything?
No, I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not looking. Nothing. Let me look at my cards here. Go ahead.
Saplays or SA Plays with a $100 tip over it. No, it's $100 super chat. Either way, holy cow! Thank you so much. They say for Patrick to get art classes. So this is Patrick's response here. Oh, Patrick says thank you. Thank you, SA Plays. Let's see. He's going to try really hard to do a good heart.
Oh no!
So like the right half of that heart is pretty good. The left half.
Thank you.
Oh, that's better. The right one, I like loads better.
Thank you.
And that you didn't even cross out the heart. You crossed next to it.
After.
Okay.
We can't see that, Patrick. It's off screen.
After.
Oh, that's the after the lessons is the heart on the right. Nice.
Oh, that's we're seeing a character development here.
Seriously, thank you so much, y'all, for all the support. Thank you, SA Plays or Sub Plays or Sap Plays or however I'm supposed to say your name. But absolutely huge amount of support on this stream, and we love you for it. You're all the best.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, Adrian, you gotta say yoy.
I missed it. I'm so sorry.
Get on
Swing and a
board the
miss.
train, man.
Thank you.
The train is
Ball
leaving
eight.
the station. It's got your luggage on it, and your whole
Put it on
family.
an airplane.
Why would I put my luggage on a train when I'm not on a train?
You're like, oh, I'm
Like, why would you-
gonna run over to the vending machine and get a soda pop, and then the train just
But
left.
But they hold like on the station like 2 minutes. How fast do I want to like?
I don't know, man. You did it. You're the one that didn't say yoy. Okay, I don't know why I'm being litigated here.
But I'm turning it around.
All right, moving along. So yeah, we have a full stack back at the pad. We have 29 next to the full stack, probably for some photo op goodness. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully they break out the drones, 'cause that'd be pretty slick.
Drones don't exist.
What?
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 No, nothing. What do I think? I don't know. It'll be sweet.
No, I don't know. I don't want to
mean,
know what you think. I want to know what you were mumbling over there, Mumbles.
Drones don't exist. It's all birds.
Okay, that's fair. Anyways, what do you think? Photo op? What?
Yeah, definitely. I can't think of any other reason why you'd want that thing there. Maybe the pedestal for it is there, and it was just quicker to just leave it there. But it's definitely not going to be there when the thing launches. Obviously that would be problematic.
What if they use it to test something on the chopsticks while the full stack? No, they can't, right?
No,
They can't not get the chopsticks out there anymore because no, it doesn't work. Never mind.
I mean,
But-
yeah, I think they'll probably move it tomorrow morning or whenever.
Yeah, today was kind of a gray day, so maybe they'll shoot some nice like sunrise stuff and then move it. But yeah, like what do we expect to see next as we head closer and closer to Flight 3? I mean, I presume they will do a repeat of the wet dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
In order to get a full one down, then FTS install, then
Sounds right to me.
hopefully flight. Adrian, there's still no word from the FAA, right? Other than the mishap investigation was closed.
I mean, yeah, you have still the situation where the which is good. The mishap investigation is closed. So right now they are waiting for basically what will happen now is SpaceX will implement the remaining things they still have on that list. We don't know, like there's not a live tracker of hey, we are this much done with 17 items. SpaceX already mentioned in the statement that they have like concluded steps of it, but then the FAA looks at it and says like, okay, cool, And then they modify the flight license, because the flight license right now says, hey, you can only use this flight license for the second flight, which is a problem because they want to use it for the third flight. This is a very basic way to explain this. Then they will get a modification of X flights. So that's an interesting thing here, because they could always, for example, get a statement in there that says, I don't know, you are allowed to launch this flight with this flight license on the third, on fourth flight, pending mishap investigations, of course. But that would mean they would at least skip this step that is now following. They basically have to just conclude the mishap investigation, but they don't have to do like the whole launch license modification again. So there's some regulatory things here that could happen, which we have seen on other vehicles in the past, and we will see how this one evolves. But right now we wait for a good old FAA document update. So get ready with your F5 keys to refresh the FAA page once we get closer. It's the good fun. It's how I have fun, just refreshing the FAA page.
Good deal.
Sounds like a good time. I'll bring the beer.
Yeah,
So-
like we're just sitting around on one keyboard in the middle, like everybody has a seat, and we're like pressing the F5 keys and just waiting for because it will say, like right now it says revision 1, I think, because technically the first one. So it will, once it changes to revision 2, then we are golden.
Can't
Sounds
wait.
good to me, man.
So, do we think 29 is going to do any engine testing or static fire or anything like that over at Pad B? Because 29 has already been to Massey's for cryo, right? So, next up for it should be engine testing, and we did see engines on it when it rolled out. What do you guys think, EJ? You think they'll do some engine testing, or just take it back to the production site after they're done with the photo op?
I think they'll do some engine testing. Sure.
Why not, right?
Any more data you can get on this thing, the better. And I don't believe that Massey's is ready, but Massey's is cooking up. They've been cooking over there. They're building out a big test facility over there for Starships for static firing, if I'm understanding that right.
Yeah,
So,
it seems like
I mean, yeah, that's probably why the other Starship is there. Probably going to send it on Pad B just while Massey's is still getting up to spec, and then they'll get rid of it and maybe build another pad over there. But yeah, I think that's right. I think you'd be crazy not to get more data on everything that has to do with the plumbing on Starship. It's so incredibly vital how the fluids move around inside of that thing to the Artemis program. We just talked about this. Yeah, get more data, the better.
Here's something I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
So they're building the static fire pad at Massey's, right? And right now with Pad B, they're kind of limited in what sort of burns they can do on the ship. Like they can't just do like a full duration flight burn of Starship because they would destroy the pad. But
There would be no pad.
right.
Yeah.
But like in my head, up until I had this thought a couple days ago, I was like, yeah, they're building a static fire stand at Massey's. It'll replace what they can do with Pad B. It'll free up the launch site so that the launch site can be the launch site, and they'll put the second tower, blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of clicked in my head. I was like, wait, but what if this dedicated static fire stand they're building at Massey's is way more capable than just humble little suborbital Pad B, and they're able to do things like longer burns or full power burns or things like that. So very exciting to see that is getting closer and closer to coming along, and just sort of makes sense to test 29 now while they can, because it will get to a point where when they do finally get ready to test on the new stand at Massey's, a lot of that testing is going to be testing the new equipment at Massey's just as much as it's going to be testing whatever ship they take out there, right? So
Absolutely.
they already have Pad B configured. They already know hooking a ship up to it works. So easy way to get data on your engines, and then hopefully get Flight 4 even faster after Flight 3.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I mean, it's very clear, like from the the footage that we see from NSF and others, right? Like the Massey's Trench is a long duration burn test stand. Now, how can you tell the difference? Like, you're right, Jack. Well, how can you? Well, but in case anybody doesn't know, how can you tell the difference? Like, so what's the difference between Pad B and Massey's? Massey's has this. It has what's called a flame bucket in it. Pad B is just ground below it. There's nothing. There's just ground, and you have a fueling umbilical, and it's just a stool. right? No flame diverter, nothing. At Massey's, they're building out a flame bucket. Now, what's the flame diverter, flame bucket, pad dilute? What does all that mean? So the flame bucket is basically it looks like a flame diverter, but it has water pipes and water channels going through it. The reason why is because you got to keep the bucket cool, and it's obviously designed to deflect the flames up and away. You got to keep the bucket cool. Most things that you put underneath a rocket engine don't survive. Even a flame diverter, like if you look at SLS or the shuttle, those flame diverters that are on the sides to divert the SRB exhaust down into the flame trench at 39A and previously 39A and 39B, they're like concrete, and that even ablates off. Rockets are very abrasive. Anything you put underneath them, you're going to lose. They're very abrasive. It's like basically sandblasting concrete, but you're not using sand, you're using gas. And the pressure is enough to crack it, and then it blows it away. So with that flame diverter down there, it has pipes going through it and cooling channels. And those cooling channels are designed to basically mitigate all of the heat. And, because you're mitigating the heat, you're also by proxy kind of mitigating the pressure as well. So it's designed for a long duration burn. A flame bucket looks completely different than a flame trench. Like even a regular launch pad, you really can't static fire for long periods of time. Launch pads are only designed to have explosion in it for maybe 10 seconds at best. But a flame bucket, like what you'd see at Stennis, there was an RS-25 test the other day. A flame bucket like what you'd see there or what they're building at Massey's is something that's going to be able to fire for a much longer period of time. And Jack, as you were saying, man, the more data that you can get, the better. And those long duration burns, I guarantee you they'll learn a lot from that.
Yeah, quick note. Alex is saying in our back channel that right now indications are that it won't be able to support long duration burns.
Great. Just going to eat my words there. Thanks, Alex.
Just because there's not enough propellant or water on site. What? I missed it. What'd you say?
You can't. There's no reason you can't scale into it.
Exactly. Yeah. So the key word in the sentence is right now. Like they can upgrade their propellant storage and the amount of water they have on site, and basically grow into this new stand. So in the same way that they've grown into the orbital launch site, they nuked the dang thing the first time around and then built it up, made it better, continued on. So. Anyways,
you had to install a deluge system, and it's an easy way to do it.
Yeah, fair.
Got to excavate there anyway.
Easy.
I mean that thing that not only was kind of nuked once, it got like multiple hits with like the landings attempts as well. Like the whole suborbital launch area got like that thing had a wild time compared to the OLM. Even I would argue like when you hear like people like, oh, the rock tornado from the OLM. I mean, have you seen the suborbital side?
Right.
That's
flying shards of Martite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when do we think Flight 3 is going to happen? That's the $1 million question. Adrian, it looks like it's hurting Adrian physically. Adrian, go first.
18th of March.
Oh, interesting. EJ?
I say third week of March. I'm about at the same spot.
Yep, I'm gonna say mid to late March. I'm not gonna give a specific day, but yeah, seems like we're in launch month now. Launch is always a month away until it isn't, and then it's like tomorrow. So, fingers crossed, we get a full wet dress on this vehicle, and they don't have to do like the stack, destack, hokey pokey like they did with the previous vehicles. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens, and stay tuned to Starbase Live and all of that good stuff. Speaking of good stuff. Gary Huerta, thanks for becoming a PadRat member. Anonymous with 4 whole store purchases. Thank you for that. Grabbing 4 things from the store. They say bring back Danger Van merch products. Like a stress toy or stuffed toy.
Oh, yeah.
Just causing physical pain to Adrian because these things are challenging. Like if we could just snap our fingers and make every product appear, we would. But it is hard to do, right?
It's not like physical painting. I'm like always interested to like hear ideas and what people want. It's just I feel like people also like the other side is yes, there needs to be things that need to be solved before you can sell something, and that's the other part. Like just because we are not saying like, oh, it's gonna be in the store tomorrow doesn't mean we'll never do it.
Blake Alexander, thank you for the support. They say chat is also furious. I suspect that's about Adrian not knowing about Tommy Boy.
Yes.
And 34 Rockstars becoming a Capcom member. You get Discord access with Capcom membership and above, so pop into Discord and say hey.
Can I just take the time to thank Iron Spark over
Please.
on the Twitch channel?
By all means.
Thank you very much, Iron Spark. You're the man. I saw that. I saw what you did. I know what you did last summer. I mean, what? Thank you. Anyway, moving on.
What did they do last summer?
Gifted a lot of subs.
But yeah, EJ
Thank you.
is over there on Twitch. So if you'd prefer to watch NSF live on Twitch, that is an option. Just saying. And also, EJ streams like crazy, like Kerbal and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you're not subbed to EJ on Twitch, like, what are you doing? What are you even doing?
It's a good
Do
time.
you even like space?
People like me. I'm good looking.
Okay. Well, it's been 2.5 hours. What do you
Really?
What do you guys think? Should we wrap it?
I think we
Thanks
should
for
put a
making
bow
that
on
full
this.
screen.
I think we should put a bow on this one. Man.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to our launch directors and flight engineers. Y'all are the best. All of our members are the best, but the launch directors and flight engineers are the ones coming out at the highest level of support. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I wish there was time enough to read everybody's name, but we are blessed with so much support that would be impossible. But seriously, you know who you are. Your name's right there on screen. That's what you get. Thank you so much. And stay tuned to our coverage. It'll be awesome coming up to Flight 3, especially with all of your help. So, also, I'd be remiss if I did not mention that this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Space Coast Live, we are doing our inaugural Shuttle Sunday, which will be discussing STS-1. We'll talk about John Young. I'm a failure. It's been 2.5 hours.
Dude.
I fail sometimes.
Bro.
We'll talk about John Young. We'll talk about old Bobby Cripp, as I like to call him, and we'll go over that. That's going to be the Bergenator and Sawyer, and also maybe even me. So yeah, Shuttle Sunday this Sunday, Space Coast Live, 3 p.m. Eastern. Tune in.
Jack, how many tiles did Challenger have?
Enough.
Good answer. All right. Nice.
Good deal. Well, with that, I think we will wrap it up. EJ, thank you for being on. Good buddy. What are you doing?
No.
I never know what you're doing.
20,000. I don't know. I'm making meatloaf.
Are you
What are
actually?
you doing up
Is that
there?
what's for
No.
dinner? What's for dinner, EJ?
I had barbecue pork dumplings.
Sounds good.
Yeah, my wife made them for me. They were pretty awesome.
Nice.
Love you.
Very
Brie.
nice. I'm not going to do the voice, but very nice. But yeah, thanks for
Very nice.
being on. Thank you for
No,
being
thanks.
on, buddy.
Thanks for having me. It's always a treat coming in here. Yeah, Chad, I hope I'm not over on the YouTube side. I hope I'm not too feisty. I like to have a good time. I like to talk about space. So it's a privilege being here, and I don't take it lightly. That's why I like to have fun here. You know, I'm all about having fun. You know, maybe go to SeaWorld or something. No, seriously, thank you very much. It's a privilege being here, and I don't take it lightly. So thank you guys. Jack, thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, don't even thank me. Thank our viewers for supporting what we do. I'm glad you're here, man. We have the more serious coverage at times. We have This Week in Spaceflight. If you want just the hard news, we have all kinds of different little products and types of content. And so we're just sort of pivoting NSF Live to be more fun and conversational, because you don't need a recap of all the news again after you've already watched This Week in Spaceflight, which came out this morning. So yeah, we hope you guys like the new format. You know, we get to joke around a little bit more, get to have a little bit more fun, go off the rails, all that good stuff. Argue what constitutes a truck and what does not constitute a truck. Adrian, thank you also for being here, my good friend.
Thanks for having me. I feel like it was a really, really fun one. I really enjoyed it, and also glad that I could fill in for Sawyer this week. So I'm looking forward to whatever comes next where I'm on air. Always like to talk spaceflight. I mean, how can you not be excited if you talk spaceflight? It's
Right.
impossible.
Absolutely, man.
Right.
If you're not excited to talk spaceflight, what are you doing?
I don't know. Yeah, it's just strange.
Yeah.
Also, I'm
like,
being yelled
weird.
at in the back channel. Yes, I did host This Week in Spaceflight this week. Yes, it is. This Week in Spaceflight, just a little behind the baseball before we fully wrap. This Week in Spaceflight is hard to do. Starbase Update for me, easy. This Week in Spaceflight is hard. So props to Elysia, who I was filling in for this week. She does a phenomenal job at This Week in Spaceflight. You need to be tuning into This Week in Spaceflight. If you want to see me do a bad job at This Week in Spaceflight, watch this morning's video. It's not bad. Watch the video. It's good. But yeah,
I'll be the judge of that.
it is challenging to pronounce all of the different things and say all of the different it's like This Week in Spaceflight is a challenge. So props to the entire team for doing that, and props to Elysia for absolutely killing it. And also, I don't know, can you see it right there? See that right there?
Whoa, you're getting too close to me, man. Jeez.
See that
What are
right
you
there?
doing?
I hit
What-
myself
what-
in the face with a light stand
What?
while I was
What?
setting up the lights for This Week in Spaceflight. So I'm an idiot, and I injured myself for your enjoyment. So enjoy This Week in Spaceflight. Check it out. It came out this morning. Anyways, let's
This week in Spaceflight.
That's impressive.
wow, Adrian. Wow. On that note, thank you all for watching. Thank you to Patrick for operating the stream.
Patrick, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Patrick. And thank you all so much for all the support. Alex Physics with a final super chat saying, watch Twist with Jack the Baconator Man. All right.
They're moving ship 29, by the way. Just
Oh, hey.
side note.
Oh, I can see it.
Nice. All right. On
New
that
meme
note,
template just dropped.
we'll see you next time.
And here we go.
We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, roger, planet.
Water towers, fly! Yes!
Echo down to nominal.
Flight comes IFD off. Bring in FD off. Off. It's orange!
145! Oh my god!
Decollage.
What is it?
Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You bet. Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Iron, what? Dude, I was trying not to freaking blow a gasket during stream there. Oh my goodness, man. Thank you so much. Wow. Try not to blow a gasket, man. I couldn't believe that. That was absolutely nuts. Hang on, gotta turn the camera on. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It makes me pretty happy that you guys appreciate NSF Live, because I don't know if you can tell, I have a lot of fun doing it. Oh, you are 100% welcome, dude. From the bottom of my heart, man. Thank you so much. That's crazy. Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. Thank you. And, you know, you got gifted a sub from Shirley Rocks. I definitely saw that. And then Only Cats gave out another. So, yeah, it's a great closing skit. I mean, I was about to say that, you know, I said on the thing that they're going to be moving Ship 29 soon. I was taking a guess, and then they did it at the end of the stream, which is pretty funny. I was shocked when you said Ford made not a truck. It's a crossover SUV with a pickup bed. Ford will tell you that. Hey, Nader. 3 months, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. It's, yeah. I mean, that YouTube community over there is bananas. Bananas. You did great. Thank you. Yeah. We've really been hitting our stride, Jack and I. Yeah, we're doing good. Doing good. It's a good time. It's fun. I actually super enjoy that, you know, talking with people about space and whatnot. And Adrian's obviously the man. I've met Adrian in real life a couple of times. A good dude. Good dude. Hey, Sudi, what's good, man? Some months you and Jack are a great combo. Thanks, man. Thank you. Workers and resources. Well, that was quick, Alex. Jeez. Good episode, was fun and informative. I may have gone a little bit off the rails with the SLS funding rant. I was like, okay, all right, I gotta reel myself in. I'm getting too real here. I should probably stop. Don't blow a gasket. Oh yeah, Barley. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. No, I got more in me, dude. We're good. How far are we in? 9:39. Yeah. Let's switch over to some workers, dude. I gotta finish what I was doing.